What up? Quick note before we start. Next week's show is going to be delayed a day because of scheduling conflicts. Just want to let you know that right now so you don't have to hit me up and tell me the show is not out. I realize the show will not be out next Wednesday morning. It'll be out next Tuesday or Thursday morning. Thursday morning it'll be out. I almost screwed myself up with it. Anyway, enjoy this show and remember, stick around to the bitter end of this one, all right? Enjoy.
Entering the Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, Week 5 spread picks, game previews. 2 of us will be selecting survivor picks as well, since 2 of us are still alive. If you want to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks, there are 2 ways to do so for the show. Actually, 3 ways to do so for this show. Number 1, smash the like button for the episode. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. Tell me your favorite spread of the week. The other way to do it, as I've been asking for, any moment that you enjoy from this show, just put a time code in the comment section along with your DraftKings handle. And hey, it just helps me catalog the show for a best of at the end of the year. So people have been very good with that the past 2 weeks. Let's keep that going. In case I forget to say it in like 2 weeks, still, that's still on the board. And even if I don't say it, it's still on the board. Just remember that. The other way to do it is subscribe, rate, review, and download the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. 5 stars, DraftKings handle, something nice about the show, and you'll be in a draw for 20 DK bucks winners announced live on Monday show, 1 p.m. Eastern time on the DraftKings YouTube channel. Jeffrey Fienberg, fresh off a new year, is here. What do you do? Do you like wear the hats and celebrate New Year? I have no idea what happened.
Hold on a second. Whoa, stop the clock. What do you mean the hats?
Like the hats, like the New Year's hats.
Are you talking about, oh. Sorry.
Oh, you thought I meant a yarmulke? I know what that's called.
I didn't think you meant a yarmulke or a kippah. I thought you meant like the real super religious people that like wear like
like the dudes
top
with
hats.
The dudes with the ZZ top at the airport that I see every now and then.
Don't worry.
No, I meant like the cone hat and the streamers. Like how does that work? Like what do you do?
Oh no, I don't know. You just I just show up, man. I mean, what do you do?
Is it like a New Year's party?
No, I wish. Although, like people go all out, like really nice family dinner, but it's not like a banger, and we're not like counting down to like midnight or anything like that, and making out with your wife or someone. You're just, yeah.
Well, it's
listen. I only like really celebrate because there's people who love me that like
are super into it,
that like care.
So it's like when I used to go to church with my grandma at Christmas time, and then finally like, nah.
I just show.
I'd rather sleep.
I just show up.
Okay.
And luckily, the Chargers played at 1 o'clock on Sunday, or like that's just a conflict because that's like a non-negotiable. But that really bothers people.
Well, you ended last year on a hot streak with your picks. Unlike the third member of the show, the Coin, who's having a real rough go of it, watches too many games. The Coin needs to go back to not watching the games. And then we have the 4th member of the show, Paul Shag, switching the cameras, directing the show. He has a microphone in front of him as well. And then the 5th member of the team, well, it was a very cursed week for him. It is Tim CUST.
Tim CUST.
I dispute that. I think the record will show I had a pretty good win-loss record last week.
Well, you are correct. You did finish above 500.
Are you right? Are you right on your math?
I mean, you're 8 and 7.
I think I was 11-4 last week.
I have you at 8 and 7.
I got this. I got it up in front of me because I saw your math. You were even wrong on me because you gave me.
I think Geoff and I were 11-4 this last week.
I have Geoff at 11 and 5.
See, that's wrong because you've already got. There's too many games there.
That's too many games.
Oh yeah, that would be correct. Yeah, so maybe to add up Tim's.
Okay, let's CUST. Packers, Panthers,
right?
Ravens,
wrong.
Chiefs,
wrong.
Chargers,
right.
Bills,
right.
Colts,
wrong.
Titans,
right.
Redskins,
wrong.
Seahawks,
right.
Bucks,
right.
Jacksonville,
wrong.
Chicago. No, Jacksonville's right. No, Jacksonville won, and they're +3.
They were dogs.
Jacksonville won by 2, didn't they?
Yeah, they're +3.
Dogs.
Oh shit! Then I have a better record than I thought. This is what happened.
That's why I brought up the spreadsheet because
all
all
your
your math.
Yet, so that's 8.
All
For
your
Jack-
math seemed off. That's why
That it's that game.
Chicago, New Orleans, Pittsburgh. I don't know how many that
it's
was
11.
because we got cut
Okay.
off.
So I don't know what I was looking at then. So you were 11-4. That makes me 9-5, and that makes you.
I was 10-5 because on the sheet I was 11-4, but there was an error on the sheet.
All right. So I'm gonna have to redo all of these now. That means I probably have the coin wrong as well. The coin is probably 7-8 then.
No, the coin was really bad, so you might have.
Well, who did
been
the
right
coin
there.
take? Did the coin take Denver or Jacksonville? Because I.
Jacksonville.
All right. So that's an extra game for the coin.
Okay. I'm a little. I mean, I guess Tim feels like this bad math has ruined his thunder of having a great week.
Were you 11-4 or 10-5? It sounded like you were 10-5.
Me or Tim?
Yeah, he said he said there was a mistake on the sheet. So if that's the case, he's 10-5.
No, you.
I was 11-4.
I thought we had 5 wrong within like the first like 8. He said he had the Colts.
I'll do it again.
The Colts, the Packers, the Redskins are all wrong.
The Packers, the Panthers, the Ravens,
Ravens are wrong.
the Chiefs, the
The
Chargers.
Chiefs are wrong. That's 5 losses right there. So you can't have 11 wins.
No, he doesn't. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing.
So
This
10-5
boring.
is what you actually went, Tim. We were both wrong.
I'm gonna. 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 3-3, 3-4, 4-4, 4-5, 5-5, 6-5, 7-5, 8-5, 9-5, 10-5.
Yeah.
Tim.
Nice end of the week though.
Okay, 10-5. Yeah, no, I felt good about hitting my super lock. I felt like the Saints played the way I thought they would. It was the Bengals are trash. So yeah, we've wasted way too much time on this.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we got it figured out. So I was 9-6 against the spread. Jeff was 10-5. You were 10-5, and the coin was 7-8.
Yeah. So that was a lot of confusion, but I gotta say, and Tim, I gotta throw him in there.
Hold on. It's an incredibly cursed week. He lost like 3 ends of his teaser, and he got eliminated from Survivor.
Okay, yeah,
and the
cursed.
Browns curb stomped the Ravens after Tim called their season over. But not a cursed week, though, right?
No, the worst one was we were out watching the game with some friends, and the Lions were on the goal line. And I said, here comes a Matt Stafford touchdown. I can feel it. That's the one where they fumbled on the goal line and the Chiefs took it back for a touchdown.
So very cursed, indeed. And even you said TJ Jones is going to be great for the Giants. He got cut today.
Well, he didn't get the opportunity. He's a marvelous player. Someone should pick him up.
If you see it, he's so great, he's getting cut from the Giants. They're
Giants
really
looking pretty good. Giants looking better and better these days.
I guess so. Yes, from the crowd, sir.
It's nice to know now that Kerryon Johnson. I know that Kerryon Johnson was cursed. That probably cost me a few $100 actually this week.
That's true.
Sorry. I feel like I'm like making a bet in golf, and me and my buddy are going back and forth of how many strokes like we had. I think Tim is 9-6.
What's the other game that he got wrong?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh covered.
Pittsburgh covered.
Oh yeah. See,
That's a game you got wrong.
yeah, I got that one wrong.
This is a shit show.
This is just a shit show to start week
Okay,
5 here.
shit.
I like how
wish
this
we
is
could all
going.
Start over. I wanted to say. All I wanted to say. Fuck.
You were never
All I
allowed to be
wanted to
back.
say. All I wanted to say was me and Tim. Props to us. We freaking made a snowman. We like quadruple bogeyed the first hole, and here we are at the end of week 4, both over 500. I won 3 games.
Tim
week 1.
is not over 500.
I should be now. It's 4 under 500, and I was 10-5. That makes me 1 over 500.
Oh yes, I hadn't added up the actual score. So
Yes.
10-5. I'll have him at 32, and I guess that would put you there, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Tim won 4 games the first week. I won 3. I didn't know how long it would take me to get to 500 again.
It took you 2 weeks. You were over, weren't you over?
No, I was
500
2
coming
games
into this week?
under.
Either way, it's I think the first time in like 3 years that all 3 of us had over 500 on a fixed week.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Come on. That's
I was like a disaster last year. I had like 2 winning weeks.
Yeah, we're
I
feeling
don't
good
know.
about it. You know,
I
what?
don't. I hope that's not true, but maybe it is.
I will say I like week 5 a lot more than I like week 4. There's a lot of lines out here I like this week.
Well, that's
I'm-
how you lose.
I-
The second
no,
you
I-
think you know anything.
No,
in this league.
I guess maybe you're right, but like despite picking above 500 in like our thing for the week, like I only played 1 spread. I lost it. I was under 500 in Super 7. Like I just didn't know what to do last week. I feel good about this week.
Yeah, so do I. It's pretty clear to me who to go with in almost every game.
Tim comes on this show every single week and says, "Look at all the free money on the table." So I take that with a grain of salt.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, I lost my super lock. You guys both got it right. We're all 2-2 for the year on our super locks.
Whatever. I was 0-2, so that's a heater.
And like
Well, no, back to back.
I mean, by the terms of this show, you need to have one thing kind of right to be on a heater.
No, it's not a
according to
heater.
Tim.
It's back. It's just 2 in a row. You
And-
can't even. Yeah, it's not even a streak. It's just 2 in a row.
You and I did the sensible thing and took the Chargers in Survivor.
I couldn't.
Tim, on the other hand, decided, you know what? After 3 weeks of saying the Raiders aren't that bad, they're secret good, picks against them and takes the Colts in Survivor. They lose. And Tim is also in a league called Reverse Survivor, where you have to pick a team to lose every week. And he took the Raiders. So he's out of both.
Oh my God,
Yep.
Tim!
I know.
You're
I
like the
know.
only guy that was confident in the Raiders.
I know, and when we get to
Who
it,
did
I'm
we
quite
take?
confident in it again.
Who did we use week 1 that he didn't take to use the Chargers?
I used the Chargers.
Yeah, I
We
know,
all-
but who did we take?
We took Philly, and they came back on Washington.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, they were down 17-0.
Yeah,
But
turns out
that
the
that
Redskins
game
are-
went to overtime. That Chargers Colts week 1.
But now
Yeah.
you can't use them this week when they're also going to win big.
Who?
Philadelphia.
Sick. I'll have to manage.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the games then. Thursday night, we got Rams at Seattle -1.5. Over under is 49.5. Rashad Penny looks like he'll be returning for the Seahawks here. That's more of a fantasy note than an actual game note. I'm just going to copy what you say, Geoff, because you've been good on Thursday night and I've been awful. Who do you think is going to cover?
Oh, I hate this game, though. I hate this game. I'm going to pick. It's not easy to do it. And I can't believe I like said Arizona last week. But
Yeah, what was wrong with you?
that was a real weird one.
We're going to get to it. Tim wants it. I mean, I would never say anything like free money because this stuff goes back and forth so much. As Paul pointed out to me before the show, there is not a single team that is undefeated against the spread so far. Everyone has a loss except for the Dolphins. The Dolphins have 4 losses. They're the only team not to cover a spread so far.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but usually there's like 2 or 3 outlier teams that just cover.
Yeah, even you hear like your buddy say, "I'm never betting on this guy again." This guy, I don't know, he's like 2-2 against the spread this year, so they're not that bad to the people who are betting them. For the Rams, people might think I'm always picking on them, but they ride a real fine line, and I was pretty confident in that +9 or 10, whatever it was, last week. I'm pretty surprised they won the game, but let's break the Rams down for a second. The first week, they barely beat
Carolina.
Carolina.
It turns out that they're actually kind of good.
Yes, but Cam Newton had half a foot.
Sure, but the defense for Carolina has been significantly improved since
My
that
point being
week,
is
and they
if
put up
Cam
33
Newton
on
was
them.
healthy, or at least was honest with his medical staff on his own team, the Rams probably lose that game.
Okay, so there's one.
Week 2, Breeze breaks his hand in the first quarter. Week 3, the Browns can't make a proper play call. They overcome so many annoying things, but they pretty much gift a game away.
And could have lost on the last play of the game.
Yeah. And then last week, they finally got punked. So their punking, to me, off the Super Bowl layoff has long been coming. Finally happened. I think they're going to lose again. I don't think this team is half as good as people assume they are. I think this team, from a roster construction point, better freaking win this year because they are so screwed. You want to talk about teams that are screwed? Jared Goff, as for right now, has the highest cap number against the cap number in the league for next year. They pay Gurley way more money than he's worth. I don't know how they're going to build a football team. I really don't.
So you like Seattle. The coin likes the Rams in this game. I had a lean coming into this towards Seattle, Tim, but I can be talked off that. Do you like the Rams?
No, I like the Seahawks. I think this line should be 3. I think they're just as good a team as the Rams. And, listen, I watched the Rams give up 55 to Tampa at home. Now you're expecting them on a short week to go in division into a notoriously difficult place to play and win. I don't think it's going to happen. I like the Seahawks to win and cover. And that's all I got to say about it.
The biggest thing in this game for me is that the Seattle pass rush really hasn't shown up at all, even with Clowney. And their defense, they shut down Arizona. Congratulations. But the Rams are still, I know a lot of that was garbage time. If you just take a 5-step drop and pass on the Seahawks every single time, you're doing pretty well. And if Like early in that game against Tampa, I mean, Goff made some just horrific throws, like throwing it to. He made the throws that I expected Jameis was going to make, but I think that they'll be able to pass all over the Seahawks in this game. And the Seahawks, you know what they're going to try to do? They're going to try to run the ball 87 times, and it feels like this game is going to be close until the end. And if that's the case, I think I'll take the points in the Rams. They also have the superior kicker, as Tim will tell you.
I'm not really even prepared to bet the game, but I like Seattle here.
All right, so Seattle for you and Tim.
Do you think it'll be high scoring?
No.
Because my big home league opponent this week is all this game, like coincidentally, like his whole freaking lineup.
16-13 type of game.
I hope so.
You hoping for that?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, I'll watch it. I won't be betting it. Arizona and Cincinnati. One of my favorite games on the board, shockingly enough.
Me too. I have a strong lean to the Bengals.
So do I. Cincinnati -3 after getting wiped out on Monday night. 47.5 is the game total. Both these teams are not good. But everyone thinks the Bengals are a whole lot worse than they are because they just watched. This game was 4 and has now dropped to 3 after the Monday night game. It was 4 this morning. It's already to 3. People might continue to steam the Cardinals. Like, here's the thing. They couldn't block for Andy Dalton. We know the Bengals' offensive line is not very good, but the Cardinals are not getting into the backfield and harassing him the entire time. You can run on the Cardinals. Like, I think the Bengals are a better team. Just overall, they're not good, but they're superior to the Arizona Cardinals. If you could bet tie in this game, that might actually be on the board with the way some of these coaches make their decisions, but just straight up, I like the Bengals -3 here at home.
Yeah, I agree. They played 2 games that have been relatively impressive when they lost, and they played 2 games where they were terrible in losses. So, you don't want to be captured by last evening and think, oh, well, they got destroyed at Pittsburgh. Something that's happened to them multiple times, even when they were a really good team. So I don't take a whole lot of that. Arizona has to go halfway across the country, play early. Arizona's not a good team at all. I don't see them going into the Queen City and ripping them up. So yeah, I like the Bengals quite a bit. This is a game I'm certainly looking at for Super 7.
I had no real opinion. You both seem pretty confident on the Bengals. My lean, I guess, would have been to the Bengals, just sheerly you all know I like to play embarrassed stuff on national TV game teams. So give me the Bengals in the Friends with Sean McVay Bowl.
Oh, yeah, it is.
2 coaches who are friends with Sean McVay.
It's going to be a reality show after they all get fired after this year. Well, I saw between Fangio, Kingsbury, and Zach Taylor, none of them have won
Flores in Miami, but
he doesn't really count. I feel bad for him. We will never know if he's a good coach or not at this stop with Miami. We just won't know
unless they just choose to keep rolling with him at long term, sort of like the 76ers did.
I guess
sure, but like even next year, it's not like even if the Dolphins get better, it's not like they're going to be markedly improved.
No, but listen,
they won't fire him.
Maybe it's organizational speak because it's the thing you got to say while you're in it at the moment. But they seem to be committed to like him creating like a Patriot culture.
Sure.
And like that being a long-term thing. Now that's easy to say when you're in like year 3 and there's been no turnaround and maybe the QB that they draft, like I get it. You can all blow that up and to look at the track record of Patriot assistants. Well, no, that's an ugly one. So we'll see. But you're right. It's kind of unfair to judge, but all those guys took over shit shows. Fangio seems to be the most disappointing one because in how they've lost.
Yeah, like they've been competitive in a lot of these games.
Like if they were 2-2, you wouldn't even be shocked. Like if the Bear call, the roughing the passer, or some real like pathetic clock management things have cost them, and we'll get to them because they play someone.
Next one on the board. If this game feels like an absolute, just don't bet anything associated with this game. But Atlanta is at Houston. It's -5. This opened at 3.5, and people have pounded the Texans after watching Atlanta just get embarrassed again against Tennessee. Sorry, and that's one. It was your super lock. We all agreed that it was a bad matchup for the Falcons in the way that Tennessee wants to play. The over/under in this game is 48.5. I like Atlanta in this game. This is too many points. What has Houston shown us that they're going to win by 5 or more in this game? They can't block. They're just going to get sacked the entire game. And did you see the Deshaun Watson presser?
Yeah, he explained the cover 4 or whatever.
I thought that got blown way out of proportion.
Why were people being mean to him about it?
No, people were like basically saying that the guy who asked the question Because he's like, dude, they were playing cover 4. Do you know cover 4? And the guy is kind of like,
The question was pretty much why, like, he asked him, like, why aren't
Yeah.
you throwing the ball deeper?
But
more
people
often?
started calling out the reporter, being like, well, you don't know anything about football. And
Get
like,
the fuck
the guy is asking a question for people who don't know about football. That's the point of the press conference. Like, sometimes.
No, it was good. Yeah,
I thought it was a great answer, and it seemed like Watson knew what the reporter was getting at. But I feel like people really took it out of the context. Maybe I'm wrong on it, but the way that I
Shocking
read it.
that would happen on Twitter.com.
That
before.
I'll say Houston last week really screwed me because I hit just about everything I bet on. It was like the only game on a big teaser. I don't even tease through 0. What a gutless freaking game for them. The Titans.
Atlanta is NFC Houston.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Titans were my super lock last week because I felt like if one thing in this world they're designed to do is bully a team designed like Atlanta, and that's exactly what happened. Especially off getting embarrassed when they're a bully team, and especially with the extra time. But you alluded to it right there. Houston has a lot of the same flaws and qualities that Atlanta does that sometimes I like to pick on, or sometimes you like to back. You're confident in the QB receiver things that they can do. This game reeks of, I don't think Atlanta could beat anybody on the road right now. I'm not kidding. I think they freaking suck.
They could
But
definitely.
this game reeks of like they're down 12 and they get the touchdown, and because Houston will give that up for sure. If there's 4.5 minutes left and Ryan's got the ball like at midfield, up 2 scores
Like,
or down 2 scores.
Like, despite scoring like a lot of fantasy points every single week, the Texans don't actually score a ton of
I'll
points.
tell you
every
this:
week.
I drafted Hopkins 5th overall. He's not scoring me points, right? Other guys on that team might be getting points. It ain't me.
Well, no, it's everything is just Deshaun Watson. Like, that's it. Julio and Hopkins in this game is a fun one. Just like, it'll be fun to watch because there's so many fun players in this game. But 5 seems like
I
a lot
didn't
to me.
mind seeing them though have their back broken Houston. I'm speaking have their back broken last week on an identical play in which they broke the Chargers' back, which was like I think Ingram had Watson wrapped up and then he gets away and then there's a coverage breakdown. Watt had Allen at like such a key moment on a 3rd down, and guy just like ducks under it and they made like a huge play which ended up into a touchdown. So.
Who is Houston's other win against? The Chargers and who?
Jacksonville on the 2-point conversion.
That's right. So they haven't won a game yet by more than 3 points. Right?
No, but their losses are close, and the Falcons are leaking oil, and this is a ship that's sinking.
I'll take Houston.
Unless the number gets to 7, I would take the Texans all the way through 6.5. Actually, I just think this Falcons team is that bad, and I think it's going to get
with
worse.
Tim.
I think it's going to get much worse. The Falcons are basically in the situation that Chief Wiggum was when he had his tie stuck in that hot dog roller. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
Is Dan Quinn the first coach fired?
He has every opportunity to be.
Or is it Jay Gruden?
I think they're neck and neck, and I still think Freddie Kitchens is live to be fired. But anyway, that's another point.
You mean division leading coach of the Cleveland Browns, Freddie Kitchens?
Yeah, team winning by 14 points or 15 when the whole world thinks they should be winning every game by 30. Yeah, I'm real impressed.
You called them dead for the season last week.
I still think they're dead. But anyway, we'll get into that later.
All right, so Atlanta for the coin and myself, Houston for you two. I've switched up the order of this so we can talk about this now. Jets at Philly.
Oh, God.
Minus 13.5. Philly's favorite at home. That's down from 14. People are steaming the Jets here, Tim. 43.
Well, let's just
43.5 is the over-under. There's a chance Darnold plays in this game. I doubt he plays, though.
I hope not. He doesn't need to stay healthy. But again, I just want to underscore, it doesn't matter because the season's over. But you know the little ways that the league screws us good. We're coming off a bye, and the team we're playing coming off a bye is coming off a mini bye. So we get no advantage of coming off that bye. I just wanted to highlight little things like that I don't miss. People might miss.
You know what would have been more advantageous for the Jets? Not having shitty players across the board.
You know the Jets don't leave the Eastern time zone this year?
Yeah, I'm aware. But I'm just saying, I'm pointing out a fact that I wonder how many other teams coming off bye are forced to play a team who is also coming off a mini bye. Like it takes away all the advantage you're supposed to have coming off.
Eagles, 2 touchdowns easy.
Yeah, I like
I'm on. Yeah, if Sam's not playing, he's not.
He's not playing. I think that's
no, he's
insane.
not. He's not playing. Detective Columbo is not going to be able to lead us to more than 10 points. The only way we score is if we get lucky, like we did against the Patriots with some flukes. Right now, we are We're not good. Give me
Yeah.
the Eagles. The Eagles are the first part of a 5-team 7-point tease.
So you're teasing them down to 6.5?
Yes, indeed.
So Philly minus 6.5. Yeah, if there's one team that is specifically designed not to be able to take advantage of Philadelphia's awful secondary, it's the Jets right now. If they had Darnold in this game, they would be somewhat live, I think, to cover the spread.
They would be live. They'd be live to be a relatively close game, but without Sam, nope, no chance. We move on.
I don't know how close it would be, just because Philadelphia is so good against the run that they would have to pass the entire time. But in this game, the Jets are just going to run the ball up the middle for 1 yard the entire time.
What else can they do?
They can bomb it. Maybe Luke Falk can throw it to himself like Nelson Muntz.
No, we're nothing to hope for. For what may I hope? Nothing.
Can you suit up Meter Maid Fred?
Again, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I've got nothing left to be emotional for. I've learned my lesson, and I will not ever again be over enthusiastic about this team. I will be measured from now on. It hurts too much to be in this circumstance, and I don't want to feel this pain again. So I won't allow myself to get excited again next time.
Okay, Baltimore at Pittsburgh. This is usually a fun game.
When you throw the fact in his face, when you put this comment in his face, when he's getting real hyped up telling us the Jets are going to be playoff team around Thanksgiving, when he tweets something like this time next year, the Jets will be clinching their playoff spot like he usually does. He knows he does. And he will come back at you saying, no, the team is so good. He's allowed to be excited.
Oh yeah, the best thing that's gonna happen here is Darnold's gonna I don't know who they play in December, but they'll win 4 in a row. They'll tank their playoffs or tank their good draft pick, and then he'll get all fired up again. Be like, see, I told you, he's the best quarterback in the league, and then it'll just be garbage again. That's how this all plays out, Tim. You know how the script works.
I don't care what happens. I've told myself you have to be more. You have to just measure yourself. And
so are you assuring me there won't be a date in 2019, likely November, December, where you tweet something along the lines of this date next year, the Jets will have clinched their playoff spot?
I am saying I have zero intention of writing such a tweet.
All right, we'll see.
You know you do that every year, though, right?
I do know, but I get hyped up.
But not now. He's too sad. He's got a case of the sads. Can't do it anymore. Baltimore at Pittsburgh.
Oh, God.
Pittsburgh is getting 3 points at home, so they're +3. 44.5 is the over-under.
This game cratered, Pat.
What was it?
The advance on this would have been close to 5. And even yesterday it was still...
well, that's good, because I can take Baltimore either way. I would have taken them at 5. I'll take them at 3. Baltimore's way better than Pittsburgh.
I don't know how good Baltimore is.
Neither do I, but if you watch Pittsburgh, they're not good.
Yes, I agree. And the stats are inflated. They threw 16 passes to running backs. You can't do that against the majority of the league.
Now, this isn't a real stat, but just from watching the game, they threw 1 pass over the line of scrimmage the entire game. And that was that one down to Deontay Johnson. Everything else was just dunk, 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 dunk. I just don't know if this the defense is good at stopping the run. We saw that again last night. Defenses that are historically very good at stopping the run really struggle with mobile quarterbacks. And at this point, if we just look at the coaching, Harbaugh is a better coach than Tomlin. Lamar is a way better quarterback than Mason Rudolph. Let's just go with that.
Who did the Ravens play week 3 again?
Kansas City.
I still don't know anything about this Ravens team.
I know that their defense isn't as good as people think it is.
I know quite a bit about the Steelers team, that it's not good.
Yeah.
And that the quarterback they have can't maximize the skill position players that they have. So I don't think the Steelers are a terrible team. I think they're a 7-9, 8-8 team, but I think Baltimore is head and shoulders better than everyone there in their division. So I'm going to take the Ravens in what I think is kind of a must-win game for them, having given away a divisional game last week.
Connor being banged up doesn't help this at all. We saw last week, if you can get your running game going against Baltimore, it just it freezes their defense. It allows you to do a ton.
What has Baltimore done since barely struggling with Arizona at home?
Nothing really. It's just I'm not as high on them as Tim is, but
Take the Steelers.
I think
Take
that
the
they're a
Steelers.
fine.
You
I think
want
they're
to.
a fine. Shut up! I'm trying to talk. You're just in my fucking ear. The Ravens, just in general, just talent wise, and especially, it's weird that this year they're not great on special teams, which almost every John Harbaugh team is really good on special teams. But like, where does Pittsburgh have the advantage in this game besides Juju is the best wide receiver and they have a quarterback who can't utilize him?
I don't know. Maybe defensive line.
Yeah, maybe. But the Ravens do a good job blocking.
Couple of good safeties.
I would say the secondary, I could argue, with Fitzpatrick and Hayden. I don't know. Like,
How old is Joe Hayden?
I don't think he's as old as we think, but
He's not 78.
I don't know. I'm real torn
You
here.
really want to take Pittsburgh?
Yeah, just take him, Jeff. You know you want to.
All right,
Nothing wrong with
I'll
you.
take him. But I don't care. I don't mind getting bullied off games. Every time I've gotten bullied off games this year, or I feel like they've gone my way. I took Detroit for no freaking reason last week. That made zero sense.
That was the weirdest game of the week.
And I feel like they're...
Detroit was involved.
Do they have voodoo going on? Just like
No,
when
like I said on the show Sunday, they're a stupid team. And because they're stupid, they do stupid things and they draw their opponents into their idiocy so that they do stupid things too.
I can't believe literally the legend of Tai Long has been amazing, and he goes into that stadium and he...
it's like, do you see Belichick on the sideline towards the end of the Bills game when he was putting voodoo curses on people?
I did.
Just like that's all over whatever Detroit's going on. They've embraced the Ander curse.
I don't
They're
believe
just
him.
cursing other teams. However, the end of that game was the most foolish thing I think I've ever seen, and no one really talked about it. So the Chiefs are coming down the field. So you get to a point where it looks like the Chiefs are going to score a touchdown, right? So you don't call timeouts, but then you also don't let them score right away. Like, I don't understand what you're doing. Like, you could
They
have got...
just trusted their defense to make the necessary stop, I guess. I don't know.
But
I'm
then-
not just- I'm
But
just
then,
saying
but then they did call a timeout at one point. Like, they let the clock run a whole bunch, let Kansas City run a play, and then they called timeout.
I
Like,
I
it's
don't know
like...
what to tell you. The Lions are dumb. Like, why would you expect them to do things that aren't dumb? This is
I don't
who
know.
they-
Yeah, it was so
to
frustrating.
their
Watching
DNA.
them drive the field to go ahead was so annoying. Like, did they not know what the hell happens?
But I mean, I guess it was further on. I think the Lions are on bye this week, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, the Lions might not be a bad team. And I've always been a big fan of Matt Stafford. I think he gets underrated when we talk about good quarterbacks. I think he's a really, really good quarterback. And I thought what we saw from him last week was impressive. I think that Lions team could vie for a playoff spot if that's the way they're going to play.
I think that talent-wise, you might be right, but like I just don't know. Like you said, they do just such stupid things all the time. Stafford might be having the best season of his career right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's a dark horse for the MVP if he can
Not
keep up
everyone
this
can be a dark horse. Like, is every quarterback in the league a dark horse for MVP?
Well, by definition, yes, because Mahomes is such a big favorite. Everyone who has a chance would be a dark horse.
Who would be second right now for MVP?
Probably still Prescott. I guess.
Baker, number 2 MVP.
I don't think you could even get a betting odd on him.
I'm sure you could.
I don't even want to go there, but
So
never mind.
Baltimore for Tim and I, Pittsburgh for you in the coin, Jeffrey.
4-0 too.
Buffalo and Tennessee. There are very few things I've gotten right so far, but I have been correct on every Bills game. So just gonna go with this. It looks like Matt Barkley is going to be starting for the Bills.
That sucks.
It does. It's not. It makes the game just completely unwatchable because at least Josh Allen does stupid things, so he's always kind of fun. But Tennessee's getting they're -3 at home. 38.5 is the over/under. Even if it is Barkley, I still like the Bills.
Not me. I like the Titans. Titans have played a couple of really good games this year. I think Matt Barkley is so bad and is so unplayable that I have just no faith. The Bills already have a bad offense. At least when they had Allen, they had someone who can be sort of dynamic and can make plays. Barkley's incapable of doing that. And, the Titans have played good opponents and have managed to notch a couple of wins. I think this line is kind of silly. I think this should be probably 4.5 or 5 for the Titans against Barkley. So I'm going to take Tennessee.
How are the Titans going to move the ball in this game?
It's easy to take Buffalo when the final score is going to be 18-16. You don't even have to
You mean
worry
0-0?
You don't have to worry about who's going to win. So I'll take the Bills. I'll take the 3 points. I'm surprised there was a line, but I guess that means they know that it won't be Josh Allen.
Or they just don't care.
No, they shouldn't not care.
I mean, they don't know if Darnold's playing or not.
They know.
I think they're more confident in that.
So Tennessee for Tim. Like, there's not really much you can say here. Like, the entire key to this game, like, Mariota's not going to do anything. Matt Barkley's not going to do anything. If the Bills can shut down Derrick Henry, it's just going to be so close. Like,
Yeah, unless Brown can take the top off the defense for a score or two, and that's always a play.
Who?
AJ Brown can maybe take the top off the defense.
But he's not taking tops off the defense. He's basically getting TO touchdowns. He's running like 20-yard ins and then stiff-arming people. Like, if he gets a catch in this game, I'm going to be stunned.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's hard for me to figure out, because I watched all that game last week, whether Buffalo's defense played great or the Patriots just are really, really, really overrated on offense. I'm not sure which.
Buffalo plays great defense. They've played great defense in every game this season, minus like 8 minutes against the Bengals. Like,
all right, fair enough. But I'm still taking Tennessee. I think the Titans are the way to go here.
Who are like, just off the top of your head, who do you think like the 5 best defenses in the league are? It's Chicago, Buffalo, New England,
Minnesota,
Minnesota, really?
Jacksonville?
Green Bay. Minnesota and Green Bay would be my next two.
Really, Minnesota?
Yeah, I think so. I think their defense is top notch. I think their offense is terrible, obviously, but their defense is ferocious.
Saints D and Niners D could be in there.
As could Dallas.
Saints have the pass rush and the corners.
Yeah. All right, London.
A healthy Chargers team, I swear to God.
Yeah, well, they're not healthy. They just lost Melvin Ingram.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Chicago at Oakland, and the at Oakland is at London.
And a 2:00 game, thank God.
Yeah, well, you have to, because you have Oakland in it.
Yeah, but thank God. I wish all
why?
the West.
Because Chargers played there last year, and we freaking played 9 o'clock.
Yeah, but Chargers have no fans, so it doesn't matter. Sorry.
Anyway, this is the way the London game should be amongst all the other games.
I like it when it's like, we have this argument every year. I like it when it's, where do you come down on this?
I think it should be early. I don't care.
I like it when it's early. It's fun. I can wake up and there's football on.
I'm going to be in Vegas next week. Yeah, for the week 6 game, and there's a 6 a.m. local. Yeah, it'll be 6 a.m. Vegas time.
Is it Chargers or is it Jacksonville?
No, it's Panthers Bucks.
It's not a terrible game.
No.
All right, so Chicago, Oakland, in London, 4.5 is the spread, 41 is the over/under. Can someone tell me why I shouldn't super lock in the Bears right now? I don't get this line at all.
Not a clue.
Are you telling me that if this game was actually in Oakland, that it would be 1.5?
I don't know. It's so creepy to me. This is so fishy, but
Yes.
I'm gonna take the Bears.
I'm taking the Bears.
I don't really understand the line at all.
I do. Silver and Black are 2-2. They just went into Indianapolis and beat a pretty darn good Colts team. The Bears are playing a backup quarterback who's a journeyman who is not all that great.
You mean that they've improved their quarterback situation?
Do you want to know something? But guess where this falls into? I know it happened in the first quarter, but to me, this still counts. Good team, first game, the week of preparation, on point. Bears big. Good team with the backup quarterback. Everybody turns it up.
I think it's a very, very, very close game, one way or the other. I think it comes down to a field goal sort of towards the end. So with 4.5, I will take the Silver and Black.
I just don't see how the Raiders move the ball in this game. Like, and the Raiders have actually come out really strong in 3 of the 4 games for like the first 2 drives. Whatever they script the first 2 drives actually turn out pretty well. Last week, the islanded Dr. Moreau had a touchdown, and some guy I've never heard of.
Yeah, Insta Raiders were back and forth. That's how I knew I was done, by the way. I knew in the first 7 minutes of having the Raiders against me in the suicide pool, I was cooked. Because when 2 Insta Raiders score, you might as well just say goodbye.
How many sacks does a revenge-fired-up Khalil Mack have here?
In London, maybe 1. Maybe. I don't know. The Raiders might not be bad.
If the Raiders aren't so bad, why'd you pick against them last week in suicide?
Because I make a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah, well, maybe thinking the Raiders are good is one of them.
This is so trippy, but I don't know, man. Like, Bears money line will be freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll lay the points.
All right.
And they would have, this thing could move a full point. It still wouldn't affect me.
No. Like, you want to talk about that Houston game going up to 7? That's what Tim said. I mean, I would bet this at 6.5. I'd probably bet it at 7. Like, the defense might score 2 touchdowns here.
Historically, I saw a thing. I wish I knew the exact number. In games that don't involve the Jaguars, because they seem to be hyper familiar with London, favorites seem to, the better teams really do succeed in London. You can make of that what you will. They're just the better team, and they can overcome.
Well, is Jacksonville even going to be good in London without Blake Bortles anymore? The king of London?
I have no idea. I don't even know when they play there. But still.
All right, so Chicago for the two of us, Oakland for the coin and Tim. Jacksonville and Carolina. -3.5 for Carolina. Kyle Allen starting once again against Minshew Walk. 41 is the over-under. I just have no feel for Carolina. They lost 3 fumbles last week and still won.
Like, that's the thing this year. 3
Houston
times teams
blows.
have turned the ball over 3+ times in 1 game this year. That's like a trend.
It just seems so crazy.
Yeah, but like Jacksonville takes forever to get going in these games. And they've been sort of fortunate against the Texans to get back within 1 point. And then against Denver, again, they were in reverse until basically the 4th quarter. And it's hard to back a team that plays like that against a team that's their equal and maybe slightly better. So I guess to quote James Taylor in my mind, I'm going to Carolina on this game. I think they're the better team. And even though I have to lay a little bit extra, like I think that they have more weapons. I don't think Leonard Fournette is going to rip off big runs against the Panthers. I don't think that's a sort of defense you can do that against. So I know Carolina's 0-2 at home, and so if anything, that makes me more inclined to take the Panthers because they really want to get that first home win and get the fans into it. I guess I'm gonna take them. I don't love it, but I think the Panthers are the play.
They're actually going to try at home this week, so they're going to cover this.
No, I think that it's extra motivation, if anything else, which is a thing.
Do they need extra motivation to win a Week 5 game?
I think so.
Okay. I just don't understand where the hook is coming in here. This just smells of a 3-point game, so I'm going to take Jacksonville.
I didn't have much to say other than, and you just said the little I had, so I'll take it. Oh my God, I just got like a flare up of heartburn.
Are you okay? You need some Pepto? It's weird. Like usually we have more discussion about these games, but
I thought 3 was a perfect number. I was really undecided on the 3. I didn't know where I would go. 3.5. I could still be wrong. I don't want to bet it, but
I'd say if it was 3, you could flip a coin. But I did flip a coin, and the coin is also taking Jacksonville here to cover to the +3.5. You have a 5-team teaser, and only one of them on it so far.
Yes, so far.
All right. Next game, Minnesota at the Giants. This is another game where the spread has been moving up. It opened at 4.5. It is now 5.5 in favor of the Minnesota Vikings on the road. Point total is 45. I'm very curious to see Daniel Jones against a team which Tim has just called a top 5 defense in the league. I mean, it's one thing to come in and play the Bucks, who have just been eviscerated the last 2 weeks on defense, and then play the Redskins, who look like they're barely trying. Now there's a real defense you got to play. So I don't know what outweighs it. Is Minnesota's defense going to show up and make them look like garbage, or is Minnesota's offense going to show up and look like garbage? I don't quite know. This seems like the Vikings are what? Are they 1-3 or 2-2?
2-2, if memory serves.
So
they've blown out 2 teams at home. They beat the Falcons at home, and I want to say the Packers.
No, the Raiders. They beat the Raiders at home.
Yeah.
So those are 2 bad teams. So maybe it was not necessarily a big deal that they played at home or they weren't on the road or whatever. They just happened to play 2 bad teams, and they could run the game they wanted to play. They can run the ball with Dalvin Cook as much as possible and play some good defense. I actually see that happening here. You can do that. Yeah. The Giants aren't that great. So I'll take Minnesota -5.5.
Me too. And it really comes down to Zimmer. They're so good against the spread, even though they're easy to take shots at and they have their flaws. Zimmer's ATS record as their coach is like insane. It's like almost maybe 70%. So by pure, they're not going to not cover 2 in a row or lose 2, back to back against the spread. And yeah, I can get behind this thing playing right into the Vikings' hands and Zimmer drawing things up for the rookie that make it a difficult game.
So Tim, you're on the swing here. What do you think?
I'm very nervous about it because I think the Giants' defense has its problems. However, I'm getting points with the better QB at home, and I like that situation. I like that situation quite a bit. I don't know. I just think these teams are relatively even. I think the Giants are better than people are giving them credit for. I think the Vikings are a little worse. I think it's a very low scoring game. I think at home, I mean, it's always a disadvantage for a team like Minnesota to have to go outside where they don't tend to play that well. I think, again, Minnesota's another team where despite having some real weapons, they have trouble scoring. That is in part because they have a terrible quarterback, but also in part, I don't think they scheme very well. So I'm going to take the Giants. I don't know if the Giants win the game, but I think they cover a number that's too large. I think it's still very close.
Since 2016, care of Warren Sharp, the Vikings are now 0-12-1 outdoors against an opponent with a winning record.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the Giants do not have a winning record, so they do not count for that stat.
Wow.
That's not good, though.
No, it's
so
not.
Weird because they play defense and yeah.
But think, their outdoor games are against every year the Packers and against the Bears and against, they've been decent the last couple of seasons. So they're playing, teams like the Rams and the Eagles. So it happens.
It just feels like, I don't know, that they're a snowball rolling down the hill. If they get going early, their offense looks better, the defense looks better. But if they fall behind, they're like, fuck.
Oh, yeah. Once it became 16-0, you knew that game was over. There was no point in watching anymore.
I do like how you're trying to curse poor Daniel Jones.
I think Daniel Jones is a really, really, really good quarterback.
This is what I'm saying. You're trying to get him cursed because you're so jealous one of the New Jersey teams has a good quarterback.
No, I'm not playing that sort of game.
Come on, that's very clearly what you're up to.
No, he wasn't eligible for us to draft the year that Sam we were drafting a QB. So I have no bitterness about that. I think he's a really good QB. I wish him all the best. I'm a supporter of Daniel Jones. I want to see him do well. I want to see him take the town and be celebrated. He has my full support.
What do you think, Geoff?
Oh, maybe I got that sip down. He's full shit.
Of course he is. Listen to him. Full support.
Can I, before we move on, can I get Tim's predictions for the baseball playoffs?
Oh yeah, Tim did release those.
Oh, he did? I thought
we're actually cruising through the show, and we need to hit our 2-hour mark like we do every week. So yeah, Tim, hit us up with your baseball cursed picks.
Well, I dispute the cursed part of it because I don't think.
How cursed have your picks been recently with the baseball playoffs?
I have been very poor with them, but I've been taking teams that I like rather than teams I think are going to win. So, I have biases towards some of these teams. But anyway.
How about the fact that you don't watch baseball?
I do watch, but I don't watch.
You?
I do watch, but in the same way that I watch a little bit of basketball, and then when the playoffs come, I watch it intensely. Baseball is the same. I mean, baseball is still the greatest sport it's the most dramatic sport. Like, there's nothing more fun than October baseball. Probably
there's nothing more fun than October baseball.
In terms of sports watching, man, I don't know. A great World Series game, I think, is other than maybe like a great event at the Olympics. I don't know if anything can really match a great World Series game. That's something special.
Well, before we get to your picks, what do you think it is? I would say it's either day one of the NCAA tournament when like all the games are going on at once. Week one of football.
For me, it's week one.
Or Thursday at the Masters.
For me, it's week one of football. Any weekend round at a major, but baseball, I'm not have Tim's ability to go so deep on nostalgia.
If I watch more than 40 seconds of the baseball playoffs, I'll be stunned.
But I can't lie. I'm baseball's like my first love.
It was mine too. But
I love it.
It legit sucks.
No.
How
much baseball you watched this year?
Not a lot, but I still love it.
And yet the ratings are up.
Do you love it?
I do.
Do you love it?
And the baseball playoffs are great, and I'll be in tonight to watch.
Oh, of course.
Sounds like a colossal waste of time.
Sorry, did he make picks yet?
No, make your picks. Who you got?
Okay.
Just give us the World Series. Just give us the World Series.
In the National League, I'm taking the Dodgers over the Cardinals. In the American League, I'm taking the Astros over the Yankees. Dodgers over Astros to win the World Series.
So you're putting a curse on the Dodgers who are already cursed?
Well, the Astros and Dodgers, it's almost like chalk for them to meet in the World Series.
Yeah, but now that's not going to happen because
I'm not dissing the pick though, because it's hard to pick against that. I don't really see either team getting knocked off anywhere.
The only team that could do some damage is if the Yankees are hot. With that short porch, they hit a bunch of home runs, and I mean, it all comes. Listen, baseball playoffs are all about pitching. the team with the better pitching inevitably tends to win games. So
Thanks, Booger.
I know, but we live in
The team
Mayo
that
where-
scores the most runs is probably going to win the game.
live in-
Let me tell you.
Yeah, the Steelers just love 3rd and 11. Like, that defense loves that. Like, yeah, man, I like cake.
The Bengals need first downs if they want to stay on the field. He really appreciated at the end of the game when they didn't kick the field goal down 30 points. Like, smart move going for the touchdown here. You really need touchdowns at this point.
Okay, so what? He's got Dodgers over. So I guess the only conflict there would be people would probably say the Astros will be favored. In that
I guess so. They
series.
could also, Tim hasn't seen like probably either one of these teams play all year.
Because we're firing through this, and I kind of wanted to bring this up going a different way. But before we went to air today, Tim told us he's extremely confident the international side will win the President's Cup.
It just seems crazy.
It's insane.
It's not
What's
insane.
What are you looking up?
Nothing.
We can hear you typing. Are you looking at who's actually on the President's Cup team now that you've had to make these ridiculous statements?
No.
He's 100% looking up the team.
Of course.
I forgot Mark Leishman is on the team. He's excellent.
He's might be their best player, man.
He is. He's fantastic. No, this team is
World ranking wise, is he their best player?
I think so.
Like at this exact moment, he might be.
So let's line them up. So you have Leishman, their best player, against Brooks. Who you got?
I would take Brooks.
Okay, so let's say that Jason Day is their second best player. It's him versus DJ.
Is DJ going to be healthy?
Yeah, he is. He
Okay.
said this week he's going to play.
Yeah, they're all playing.
Yeah. And Tiger might not even pick
Here's the
himself,
thing.
which is probably
No,
good for their
Tiger
team.
is picking himself.
Is he?
Because apparently
he's not picking Phil. Is like
No.
that's how they lose this.
No, but there was some like Tiger very low pro. Didn't really get much attention, but he put out like a statement and it kind of said like playing captain at the bottom. So we'll see how that unfolds. They might like take Kisner because they got like so much.
They should have taken Kistner last
That's why.
time.
That's I feel this thing. And
Yeah,
even,
this isn't the same sort of course.
And I want to say because you know what's my favorite thing in sports? Tim actually said the World Series. No.
Ryder Cup?
The Ryder Cup is my favorite thing in sports. I actually watched the year-out presser today with Potty and Stricker down in Wisconsin, and Potty just was so. I went into this thing thinking, and I'm pretty good at calling this Ryder Cup stuff as an unbiased
We've been
Canadian.
good, yeah.
I've got no bias. I call it as I see it. And I think the Americans are just set up to like run train and get a trophy back at Whistling Straits. Like Brooks won a U.S. Open there. They'll just like the course just simply sets up.
Yeah, no, he did not win a U.S. Open there. Tim's right.
Jason Day won a PGA championship.
Sorry, where did he
Timer
win?
Won a PGA championship.
Sorry, where did Brooks win then? That's Aaron Hills. Why
Brooks
do I
won at
always
Aaron
mix them
Hills
up?
He won at Aaron Hills.
So
and
where's the
Shannon-
Ryder Cup? Aaron
at
Hills?
Whistling Straits.
Whistling Straits, where Day won a PGA championship and where Dustin grounded his club and allowed Keimer to win a PGA
I
championship.
hate that place.
Yeah,
but I still think.
Finau was top 5 there the last time I was there. Anyway, like you want bombers there, basically.
Yeah, I still. But Potty was like.
They better take Hovland.
I'm not telling you anything about like how we win in the team room because they're like asked like because they always just come together so well. He's like nowadays he almost thinks like a neutral body should set up the courses even when they're on Europe because he made the point that now it's like the stats guys are setting up the courses
He's right.
as they did for Europe last time.
Mhm.
You know, Club National in France like was super narrow and extremely penal. But then he threw shade that he doesn't think Whistling Straits could be set up like any different. It's like it's just a natural golf course. I don't know what Steve can do.
It's carved.
I
out
don't
of
think
a
he can do
gravel pit.
anything.
What are you talking about? It's carved out of a gravel pit. It is not natural. It may look natural. It isn't.
I'm just repeating what
Harrington said.
Yeah.
what he said,
I think he's mistaken.
and it'll be interesting.
Maybe Dustin will ground his club.
As for the President's Cup, Tim, you're so dead because like 4 Americans can suck
It's plus
and they'll still be fine.
like- There are like 8 NFL teams that are longer dogs to win this week than the international team is.
They should be. They have to win 3 days of matches.
Okay, I'm just saying in Australia with the time change and the tournament, the Americans don't care nearly as much about as the Ryder Cup. And
Yeah, but you
You
seem
think
to
Tiger's going to captain a loser?
No, but it's also the main reason. Like the Euros stick together because they're Euros, and that's why they can gel as a team, like the Americans can gel as a team. These internationals, there's like 4 Aussies on the team. There's like 2 guys that don't speak English, and there's a bunch
More.
of
There'll
South
be more than
Africans.
2
Like,
guys that don't speak
It's not a
English. Yeah,
team.
exactly. No.
Okay.
Like the best squad that they had, I don't know if it was the last time or the time before, was Day and Dillette.
It was a couple times ago.
Yeah, like that was
time
the
they
best
almost
team.
won.
That
Lahiri
and Louis
missed
and
like a
Grace.
4-footer, which would have gotten them an actual tie.
Anyway, that's enough President's Cup. Let's get back to football. New England at Washington. It's the only game I've bet so far this week.
Oh, good, because it's also the second end of a money line parlay. Or, sorry, a free money teaser.
Perfect. I mean, I don't even need to see why you have to tease this game down. It's 15.5. The Patriots are favored. 43.5 is the over/under. This game opened on Sunday night at 14.5, and I just bet the minus 14.5 right away.
Yep.
Like, especially Brady coming off a really bad game against Buffalo. I just see him going into it's a team with no defense, no offense, and Brady can just play pure fuck you mode here and toss like 6 touchdowns in the first half. Like they should be, unless the same thing happens to them as happened to the Jets a few weeks ago, where they somehow scored like 2 meaningless special teams touchdowns, and the Patriots covered the spread.
Yeah, this game has 31-3 Patriots written all over it, doesn't it? That's where I'll be going to England.
That's how I feel too. So you're teasing them down to what? 8.5?
Yeah, I wanted to get 5 teams on the teaser, so the Patriots were the last team to throw on there.
Give me the Redskins. It's a sandwich game between a division game off an undefeated rival and a Thursday nighter. I got nothing.
We don't even know who's starting a quarterback for this.
I got
game.
nothing.
Brady,
Brady,
who
I
would you?
respect that, Jeff. I respect just taking a step in front of that bus and taking.
No, I just think it's a bad spot. I think Brady
No,
might not even play 4 quarters. He's kind of
I
being
under-
bothered by a calf. I want to say Brady, the Redskins can't do what I'm about to say, but the Bills made Brady look every part of 42.
Sure, but the Bills also have the top 3 defense in football.
Agreed. And the Patriots and their magic is just so freaking magical. And I'm not expecting it to run out. That's not where I'm going. I'm about to
It's gonna
praise
run out
them.
next week because
I'm about to praise them because when Brady looks 42, they block a kick. The defense plays amazing. Like there's never a time when they're let down by multiple units.
Well, that's
the games Brady looks bad, they make great special teams plays. They're so amazing.
Like
there's not enough words. You couldn't put my jealousy. You couldn't even quantify my jealousy as a whack packer for one of the 32 member clubs of how jealous I am of everything they do.
I got no jealousy for them.
Sick, man.
the only thing that Tim roots for in football is the Patriots to lose. I'm not jealous of them at all.
I hate them. I'm not jealous of them.
What are you jealous of?
Very little. Although
that-
people often misuse that word. Jealous means to want to preserve what one has. Envious means to want something that one does not have.
So you're envious of the Patriots then?
No, I'm not. And I mean, next week they play the Giants on Thursday night. I expect Daniel Jones in the passing of the torch type of game to tear them apart.
I can see which Washington quarterback would give you the most faith in this cover.
Case Keenum.
Yeah, Keenum. Is he just up Chuck Kumaloo?
Not Colt McCoy, who's
Keenum's
in the
only 2 years removed from starting in the NFC Championship game. I refuse to believe he's just done.
probably no Terry McLaurin in this game, who's like their only good player at this point. If the Patriots defense wasn't so good, I think you could make a really good case for Washington to cover the spread.
I think it's an AP week.
You think it's an AP week against the Patriots?
I do.
All right, well,
I really do.
I look forward to you using him on DraftKings this week against us.
Probably will. I won money this week, so I probably will.
You came second. That was an impressive performance.
Rams D.
Rams D will do it. Did you have all Rams?
No, but Rams D, Cooper Kupp, and somebody else there. Oh, I think I had one of the Buccaneer receivers, I think.
No, that will work out for you. So New England for Tim and I, Washington for the coin and Geoff. Tampa Bay and New Orleans. New Orleans, -3 at home. 47 is the over-under. This is also the last game of the early slate where all the games are this week. I'm super confused about this game. 'Cause
It's like the Bears line.
I'm super confused about both of these teams. Like,
I don't think that the Saints can score with Tampa. Therefore, I don't think the Saints can even win the game. I like Tampa. I like Tampa big.
I kind of like Tampa as well, but then I worry that their defense is really good. Like, Teddy Bridgewater looked horrible, by the way.
Yeah. If
And
Teddy plays like that, they're going to lose because Tampa's going to score 20 points just by blinking.
why did Dallas change their entire offensive game plan last week and go back to why they weren't good and like couldn't go far in the playoffs past few years? Went back to running the ball just slightly like off tackle or in between the guard and tackle for nothing when play action was all they were doing all season, and they were second in yards per attempt. They were throwing it all over the field. They decided just not to do that. Their two plays were run it for nothing with Elliott and throw to a covered Amari Cooper when there was other guys open. It made no sense to me.
It took that type of offense to and only kicking 4 field goals for the Saints to win. I think the Saints played great, and I picked them last week. I think they played great. I don't think with the offense as constructed right now, it can get to 30 points. And I think the Buccaneers will be hard pressed to keep under 30 points indoors. I just love Tampa in this game. I just totally do.
The only hesitation I really have here is if the Saints defense is actually legit, maybe Winston can take advantage of them, or maybe Winston's played one good game in a row now. Maybe it just swings back the other way and he's bad.
Yeah, somebody on Twitter, I wish I knew who it was. I'd give him the credit for it. Tweeted out there during the Rams game that no lead is truly Jameis proof. There is truth to that.
Tampa Bay still has a bad offensive line. The Saints have an excellent pass rush. They've looked good on special teams, and they're not turning the ball over. Like they're playing ultra conservative and throwing these little dink and dunk passes, but they're not doing anything to actively lose the game. It's just that they have to get into a situation where they have to actively win the game because they're down. Then I worry about their prospects, but I'll take New Orleans -3. No feel for it though.
I'm taking them too.
You're taking the Saints?
Yeah, I don't like it. It feels weird, but I don't know. You can keep Tampa off the field. They can run the ball and control the clock. And
no, well, that's the one thing about this game. The coin is taking New Orleans as well.
I know Tampa's defense is much improved, but
you know what? Tampa might have the best run defense in the league so far. They have shut down everyone on the ground. Now, that almost plays into what New Orleans wants to do because I think their offense is more dynamic when they're throwing to Kamara out of the backfield than actually running him.
that's true.
You know who's looking like a good head coaching hire? I'm excited to see what his prospects are like as a head coach in the league. Todd Bowles. Look at this guy's defense. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, he was always meant to be.
He is going to make a great head coach for someone in the league, I think, Tim.
The Jets have had in succession 2 guys who are marvelous defensive coordinators, and Rick Ryan and Todd Bowles, who just in the end weren't the right guys to be head coaches.
I don't know. I think that Bowles has this Jets stink on him that no one can be successful being the Jets coach. Maybe that's unfair to judge him that way, but you basically called him the worst coach in the league over the past 2 years, Tim.
You know what? I know you want to get me worked up, but I'm in a very zen place, and I'm not going to be thrown off my guard by reliving past painful memories of Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing 6 interceptions at Orchard Park. They cost us a playoff game in a year that the Patriots were really bad and we could have won the Super Bowl. No, I am not worried. I'm not thinking about those memories anymore. I've let them pass because they cause too much pain, and I'm trying to avoid pain.
Avoiding pain is inevitable for me, but not Tim. I guess it's not. Avoiding it is not something that any of us can really do, but it seems like, Tim, you're constantly in pain.
Yeah, well, because I let my high hopes and expectations weigh me down. But I'm not going to do that this week or going forward. I told you I'm a changed man. I'm not going to get overexcited about things. I'm just going to channel my energy into cheering against the teams that I hate for the rest of the season. That's what will bring me joy.
So we're in between the early and late games right now. So we'll take like a little mini timeout here and just have a quick chat. The topics, I couldn't narrow down one thing I truly wanted to talk about this week with Tim. So number 1 on this list is Geoff's burgeoning rivals list. Tim, if you had to rank Geoff's biggest rivals, who would they be?
I do think number 1 is Darren Ravel now.
Yeah, what do you have against Darren? Why do you hate Darren Rovell so much?
What
Sent
a
out
fucking
yesterday.
loser.
Tweet you sent out yesterday where it's like, oh, I'm Darren Rovell. If the Chiefs trade Mahomes, I'll cancel my Twitter account.
This
Clown
fucking
face.
guy, like, action.
I lost it.
I don't know if it's a good thing. Like, I don't know if I'm hitting the chord I want to hit if I'm making Tim lose
Oh, I
his
was
shit.
like, I had tears coming down my eyes last evening. I
No,
was laughing so hard there.
what an insane person. Like, this guy.
Is he more or less insane than Tim? Or is
No,
it a different
no,
insane?
you know what? Way more insane because he's a fucking phony. Tim is like genuine, scary genuine. This Rovell is such an ass clown phony. Trying to sell himself to nobody or people born yesterday as some like gambling expert for the fucking Action Network. And I like that operation. And there's a few of our friends that do stuff for them and they all do great work. I don't know why this clown is associated with that. And he speaks like he knows anything about gambling. He's a phony. He's a phony. He's a fraud. He's a fraud to show me like what stadiums have on their chicken fingers or something.
That's content made for Tim.
It's go if Tony Romo wins the tournament, I'll delete my Twitter account. So pretty much now every day I'm gonna rail on this guy. Like during the World Series, like if the Miami Marlins win the 2019 World Series, I'll delete my Twitter account.
It was the clown face that got me.
Yeah, because it's a clown show.
But you hate emojis, Tim.
I know, but just I can hear Geoff calling him a clown. It just, I don't know. It just killed me.
So who would you rank as Jeff's number 2 rival? Because he's very passionate about hating Darren Rovell.
Justin Rose.
No, that's the joke. Because there's another golfer who should be way ahead of Justin Rose.
Yeah, Jordan Spieth you hate far more than
The
Justin
thing
Rose.
with Rose and his
don't
face
like
and
Justin
him,
Rose.
yes, I don't like Rose.
Justin Rose's phoniness.
Yes, he's also phony. So you're right. Spieth is genuine. I don't like phonies. Even this whole thing of like Rose trying to be like, oh, me and Justin Timberlake are best friends. Like, I don't believe anything Rose tries to sell me. Anything.
What if he tried to sell you Morgan Stanley?
No, sure. But this guy became #1 in the world.
And sold out!
Yeah, he's allowed to, but I don't have to believe it. He's allowed to.
So we have
What about that? What about
Spieth,
that
but
lady?
Spieth.
No, hold on.
Hold on. If Spieth like won a tournament, I'd wake up like the next day bothered. Justin Rose, like that's all like shtick. I don't like not like him. His like face like kind of annoys me, but I don't not like him, and I don't not like Spieth. I just am proud that something I called that was so like out of fashion is in fashion.
Well, I mean, that's Tim's entire game plan here. That's why he just enjoys everything.
Yeah, but I don't do something like that every week on purpose and then try to take credit for it 3 years later. This happened. It happened naturally. And now I'm going to take a little bit of credit or more than some people think.
Begging for credit like you're Tim. Listen to you.
Hold on. I'm allowed to take a bit of
I mean,
when
they're both
like
Jets fans.
when an opinion that when you make it is polling at like 8% and now it probably polls.
So what we call 8%, anywhere between 4 and 8%, we call the CUST zone.
Yeah. So when I make and I believed it when I said it. I wasn't saying it to make a highlight or to still be talking about it 3 years later. But when I made a statement that polled at 8% at the time I made it, and now it polls at over 50%, I'm allowed to be like, look at me. I don't think that's unfair. I think Tim is dead wrong, though. Just not a rival.
So
Okay, number 3 is that lady at McDonald's that you see every day.
Yeah, so
No,
th-
not
this
every
is
day, but
this
yes.
is how this all started. We were trying to figure out who Jeff's biggest rival was, and then he said, "There's this lady at McDonald's, and I'll tell you on the show." So please tell us.
I don't know if it can live up to it in words. And I would honestly just say before I get there, Travis Benjamin to me has to be my biggest rival. Because like
More than Rovell? It seems like you have a lot.
I
of
don't
animosity
wake
for
up
Darren
angry
Rovell.
about Rovell. Like
It seems like
thinking
you
about-
live
No,
angry through Rovell.
If
Who's very welcome to come on the show, by the way.
if
he would
it's
like to.
brought-
I'm a fan.
Don't forget about McDonald's lady. I'm sure you won't. But I've been blocked. You know the list of people I've been blocked by on Twitter?
I don't know.
At least that I know about it. It is very small.
I didn't realize anyone had me blocked on Twitter until you sent me some guy. There was some tweet that you got blocked by some hockey player, and it turns out I'm blocked by him too. I have no idea who he is.
And Yes, I didn't make that incident public because he actually apologized to me after. But like a very prominent TSN member like came at me in DMs, couldn't handle my jokes.
I saw the name.
Very well established joke.
I saw the name and I was like, I know that name from somewhere. Where do I know it from? I think I had like a Hartford Whalers Pro Set card of him in 1990.
But you must have like someone must have said something to you in a thread with him, and you made such like an egregious like anti-hockey comment. Like I'm trying to think why.
No, because after the fact, I went and looked it up if I had ever been mentioned in anything with him, and I hadn't been.
That is
I get
very
blocked by people all the time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm this close to blocking.
So Ryan Leaf, which bothers me that I'm blocked by him. I asked him a question that I saw reported in a thing like years ago. I saw like when he was a Charger that he had this like incident in our medical room where he like threw a chair at Dr. Chow, who's now like famous for some malpractice things.
I'd say he's famous for being fantasy doctor.
I was going to get there. Yes, he's established himself as pro football doc. I almost need to know instantly like
what he thinks.
Well, he's a good resource.
I would say shout out to my guy, Dr. Jesse Morse.
No.
He gets the Pat Mayo bump because he comes on the show.
Yes, no, I agree. I'm just looking for any doctor. And as you know, if you're a Charger fan, you're always in need of a diagnosis of the most recent injury.
I'm a doctor. I can diagnose.
So Ryan Leaf has blocked me. Jeff Blair, a local.
Who's Jeff Blair?
A local Fan 590 radio host blocked me. And this one bothers me so much because he blocked someone else. He blocked like a genuine good guy who does these like local Toronto podcasts. I'll even give him a plug. Toronto Mike. That should interest literally 0.1%. But this genuine good guy got blocked by Blair. I don't know, this guy's never said anything in his life that would like offend anybody. And then I made fun of Blair for blocking this guy. Whatever. And Chuck Swirsky.
The Onions guy?
The biggest, there's a pattern here. If I deem you're a phony, I will be relentless.
How do you do the show with me? I'm the world's biggest phony. I pretend like I know about gambling like Rovell does.
But no. You're genuine in your phoniness.
Oh, okay. So that
like
there is
you acknowledge like this is no.
Now, people want the McDonald's lady story.
No, but Chuck,
you want the McDonald's lady story.
Fine.
Chuck Swirsky, listen, I spent a lot of years like behind the scenes in some sports media production aspects. Wrangling guests, getting guests.
That's where I met you.
There is not a bigger phony I encountered in my entire decade plus doing that than Chuck Swirsky. And I call him on it. I got no problem. This is a guy that you get him on the he's such a fucking pissant. Like in the booking, you even get him up in something he agrees to do. Like I'm not forcing you to do it. You could say no thank you. And you get guys on the phone before you put them through. And it's like a very at least when you do it long enough, it's like a very scripted like routine.
Yeah, you call him 5 minutes before. Hey, you're on the line. Let's get a mic check.
Yeah,
you're ready to go.
Maybe even, and if the guy's a real pro, it'd even be like 90 seconds.
Yeah,
if like I know you're reliable.
If you're phoning Pat Mayo,
Jeff would say like, Morency will be on. Here's what he wants to talk about. He'll probably talk about none of those things. Talk about what he wants to talk about.
No, all that stuff's been done in email beforehand. But Chuck would be like, you'll get him on the phone, like, how long is this gonna take? Why are you bothering me? Like he's just bitching and moaning, and then it goes on. He's like, great to be with you, great to be joining the great city of Toronto. And I don't know, I encountered him in public once too, a real fucking phony. Now down to this McDonald's lady. I don't even know if this is going to entertain people, but just a couple times a week, it's not even the McDonald's that's close to me, but it's the McDonald's that like I'm on the road and I'm near. So a couple times a week I will go there, and I'm just this isn't like drunk or like post day like stoned late night like McDonald's.
It's like 11 a.m.
The 10 nuggets with the side double cheeseburger.
I do a side McChicken.
All the same.
Double cheeseburger is the way to go.
It's more like this is like I try to either beat the kids on their lunch or before or after, but it's just like innocent 2 cheeseburger, small fry holds me over perfect. This woman, she like makes this McDonald's her home. She reeks of the same, like, women that put on so much perfume like bother me so much. If anyone sits at what she deems as her table, she like has this little hissy fit. She annoys the staff to no end. Like I'm always like, I hate this. Like the staff always, she just walks like behind the counter. I see other people go in there and complaining to the staff about this woman. I don't know. I'm not explaining it right. I fucking cannot stand this woman. I cannot stand her. I don't know why Tim is so entertained by the concept of all of it, but I hate this. I literally, this woman is probably a rival. Yeah.
Is she number one?
No.
I mean, it's
when I see her, I get really annoyed. I hate this woman. I also like have a natural hate, and she doesn't like have a laptop or anything like that. She wouldn't even know how to work it. Probably just annoys people. But like I also like naturally hate like the people that set up shop in like a McDonald's or like a Tim Hortons.
No, those people are the worst.
Like they're making it their home for 4 hours.
Exactly.
Like get the fuck.
Go get your food, eat, and then get out.
That's a pretty low place to do it.
They're just skimming the Wi-Fi, working on something.
I mean, there's a culture around going to somewhere like Starbucks and working. They kind of encourage
no, McDonald's wants you to do that now.
Matt, what sort of job are you doing where you're going to McDonald's and working?
Oh, believe me, with all the McCafe renovations, they're becoming sort of they're designing themselves to be sort of a destination like Starbucks. They have better coffee.
Anyway,
you know what,
a lot of people go to Starbucks to go work. I don't, but a lot of people do.
No,
it doesn't really bother me.
Work in your office, work at home. Don't work at
a lot of people don't necessarily have that luxury. Like I know someone who ducks in at the Starbucks right around the corner here and does his work.
Rent a WeWork desk.
Go what?
Rent a WeWork desk. Isn't that what they're doing with that? You just rent a desk.
Yeah, I mean, he does sales, so he's like all across, but sometimes he has meetings in between, and he'll go to the Starbucks and work for an hour, and then he'll go to his next meeting.
I'm going to get so mad when I get home and think of 7 things this lady has done to bother me that I forgot.
Well, I mean, the too much perfume thing, I can't stand. It's like the guy at the gym who just like takes a thing of Axe body spray. Like, do you need to smell like that?
Have you seen the commercials?
Has anyone told you smell good? And
the commercial tells him he's going to get laid, though.
Yeah, but you know who doesn't? People who wear Axe body spray. That's like a big trigger right there. But you said, what'd you say you get with the nuggets?
If I like you have different McDonald's go-to orders.
Yeah, like I like nuggets, so nuggets is
my heavy one would be like the nugget combo with like the double cheeseburger.
Okay, so I get like a junior chicken on the side with that. Tim threw this out here on Twitter the other day. He said that the Wendy's spicy chicken is bad.
Garion agreed with me.
No.
And for the longest time, Garion was like a fan of it and like stood for it. Now he's like, it's just not that good anymore. No. And you know why? And it's never been good. It's a terrible sandwich. You're going to go to Wendy's, you get a JBC. That's it. That's the list.
I mean, I don't think that anyone has ever ordered a JBC in their lives. Like if you're going down the JBC route,
I definitely have ordered plenty.
One?
Of them.
You've went into a Wendy's and ordered a junior bacon cheeseburger.
No,
you order like 10 of them or something like that. You're either super stoned or you're super drunk, and
you
just want to pound it into you.
The Wendy's spicy chicken.
It's the best thing on the menu. Maybe this has changed over the past 3 years. I don't know.
No, it hasn't. But before fast food, I don't want to say became more popular.
Got better.
I want to say before like what you would classify as fast food.
Five Guys
has sort of grown where there's like a bit of a higher end level maybe.
Okay.
But when you take like fast food back to like its origins, or I'll say like for me during like my high school or university days, the #1 power ranked fast food item of all the establishments was the Wendy's spicy chicken.
Yuck.
That was the #1. And I would say today, even with the growth of better quality fast food, a Five Guys, a Chick-fil-A, I would say that Wendy's spicy probably still has to rank in like the top 3 to 5.
Yuck.
No, you're wrong about this, as you're about most things.
No, it's terrible. And even Garion agreed with me, which is a sign that I'm right about this. Because Garion was a huge defender of it.
No, so Garion probably ate too many that he is like now sick of it.
But Garion also says that Popeyes is better than KFC. Tim, do you agree with him on that?
No one agrees with that unless they're just trying to troll. Popeyes doesn't have 11 herbs and spices that are in a secret vault that no one can see.
How triggered do you think Tim was when Melissa McCarthy was playing the Colonel?
That didn't bother me. You know what? I'm not going to tell this story. It's sort of off topic. Let's move on to something else. Let's go.
You can't bring it up and not say it, Tim. What's the story?
I've gotten into this YouTube wormhole where I've been watching people go to the World of Coca-Cola Museum and try all the different Coca-Colas that they have there. And then they show the merchandise tent and all the stuff you can buy. And like now I'm just trying to find as many videos as possible just to see what it's like there, because I think it's so cool and I want to go.
This is lower than people who watch other people open GIFs on YouTube.
Oh, that's a huge thing.
I understand, but it's for like that's also for like 3-year-olds.
I don't think this is this.
Where is the Coke Museum? Is it in Atlanta?
Of course, it's in Atlanta.
I don't think this one is that crazy.
It's just sad.
More sad than crazy, but it's something he enjoys, and like, there's no.
Is this a step above or below being on the
But
Coke
when you
Reddit
say
threads?
the different Coca-Colas, do you mean the establishment of like changing the recipes, or all these new like?
No, like the weird like brands that you could get all over the world. They have this room where it's just a bunch of fountains and like with different countries' names on them, and like you can get all the samples of it that you want with cups.
Yeah, but you hate anything that's not regular Coke.
Yeah, but you can get like the way Mr. Pibb is in like Paraguay.
But you would hate that because it's not what you're used to.
I'd be curious to sample all these various things. Then I could buy all kinds of Coke swag when I was in the store. And then you can see all the artifacts and go on a museum tour. It would be so cool.
There's nothing stopping you from going to do
I
this.
would go to this museum for sure.
Would you?
I wouldn't like make this like I'm going to Atlanta to go to this
If
museum.
you were in Atlanta, that's a must go. Yeah.
We were in Atlanta. We didn't do that. We just tried to get the hell away from the bus station.
We were there very briefly.
I don't know, what do you do in Atlanta?
Go see the CNN museum and the CNN stuff. Go to the Coca-Cola museum.
I guess I was big into like hip hop. It would be a fun place to go to, but I'm
Go
not.
see stuff to do with the
I don't
Olympics.
know. You make it rain at the strip club.
You can do that at any strip.
No, I don't know. Atlanta's like, never mind.
What is it? Golds? Is that what it's called?
Something.
What's the name of the strip club?
Might be, yeah. No, I don't actually know.
It's one that all the NBA guys.
Yeah,
go
it's
to.
like just famous. It's yeah.
All right. Enough of that, or do you want to talk about this $17 Kit Kat bar?
Let's postpone that for now. I have had that for a corner because I'm starting to work up something for that.
I think he's very misguided.
It's
Really?
all the millennials are. But you know what? No, I'm not. I'm not going down this road. I will save my wrath for the next one.
And you realize that it's only sold in the UK, right?
It's still millennials.
I think it's just customized. It's like
It is. It's
yeah,
it's
and
a
then you
customized
could use
one.
like a really fancy like.
Tim, if no one wanted it, no one would buy it, and therefore it wouldn't exist.
Instead of spending money on a mortgage, would rather buy a Kit Kat.
How much money, Tim? How much money do you owe on your mortgage?
That's a separate and apart question. I'm not buying snickerdoodle flavored.
No, you're buying SIGs and scratch tickets.
I ain't bought a scratch ticket in weeks.
All right, now that Jeff, you're all fired up, let's get to this. Denver at the Chargers, one of 2 4:00 games. The Chargers are favored by 6.5
I love that,
points
by the way.
at
Me too.
home.
I'm a fan.
You like this?
Yeah.
2 4:00 games.
This sucks
Yeah,
so much.
for you, it sucks.
Do you know how hard it is to watch 10 games at once?
Yeah, but I want to watch Dallas Green Bay like tip to buzzer. So
I mean, you could do that anyway if other games were on.
yeah, but now I don't feel bad about it because there's only one other game on, and that game's going to be a rout, and that'll be over by halftime. So
No, it won't.
44.5. You keep talking about death by 1,000 paper cuts. Is there a chance that in week 16 with the playoffs on the line, the only active player for the Chargers is Phillip Rivers?
Listen. No, I have no patella tendon in that knee.
What happened to your patella tendon? Are you Jimmy Graham?
Chargers is so cursed.
Literally, my kneecap is like supported by nothing.
It is. The curse is now applying to your kneecap here, your lack of
I don't
kneecap.
like that it started during the Chargers conversation after I made a comment. That's not good.
Oh God. Yeah, Phillip to Keenan versus everybody.
Those are the 2 guys left.
No, we've
And
got
Ty
about
Long.
6. Phillip, Keenan, Eckler,
Bosa.
Bosa, Casey Hayward.
All you need is
Casey
just
Hayward
garbage
was like
time.
thinking about skipping last week's game because he was like banged up too. He was
I expect
fine.
Melvin to show up this week and Melvin to play well.
Who do you think gets more touches, Melvin or Eckler?
Oh, I got no idea what happens.
I think it's Eckler,
But
at
I
least
think-
this week.
I think we need everybody. I think Eckler can line up wide. I think we could see them both out there. We got
That's
to just
interesting.
utilize them all. We need everybody. We need everybody. Our margin for error is honestly zero.
Dude, they had guys at receiver last week. I started Inman in fantasy, and he was the leading receiver. But they also had some other guy named Jeremy, who spells his name with a G, and then General Patton was another guy.
Yeah.
They just have, dude, like Lance Kendricks is now on the team. Like they're running out of guys, bad.
We are. It just doesn't seem to want to stop. We have to just survive whatever's happening, get some
Like
wins.
Perriman went down as well with a concussion, right?
I believe he's fine, and he's actually been good. I'm so real disappointed.
But you know
in-
what? The good thing is the Chargers are facing their adversity now and are overcoming it. So
Thomas Davis might be done. That's real upsetting. We are getting attacked still in the secondary, which was so deep once upon a time. We had 3 Pro Bowlers back there, and we're down to
One.
I don't know. No, actually, Desmond King. Desmond King has to be on that list too. That guy does everything. So we got about 6 bodies I love.
And Ty Long.
We've got no room for error. We have no room for error. I don't know what to make of this game. I could argue it both ways. For the people that want to make the case that Denver should be, 2-2, if not for a couple of things, and the Chargers should be outside of beating Miami 1-3, I think that's totally unfair because you can't say we would lose to the Colts if Vinatieri made his kicks and then not say, but then we beat the Lions if Long makes his kicks.
Yeah, but that's classic Chargers, though.
No, but I'm just saying it has to go both ways. The Chargers, could very well. There's a very realistic scenario in which they were 4-0. No, they're not because they're the freaking Chargers. I don't know. I think it still might be too many points because I think there's.
I like Denver here.
Yeah, because I think there's a perception that Denver is just like horrible. But if you really do break Denver down, I don't think they're as bad as people want to make them. I'd almost argue like the reason you like the Bengals is like yes, they're bad and they've got problems, but it's not quite matching up with this reality. And people, I'm never betting on Denver again. Like they screwed me so hard. Flacco sucks.
They're not wrong about Flacco sucking. He's not good. But you kind of pointed it out last week that whoever the wide receiver 2 is for a
Big
team.
games.
And at least in Denver, they have 2 guys. So whoever Hayward's not covering, whether it be Sutton or Sanders, they should have a good game.
Or Fant could have a good game.
I like Fant. But Bradley Chubb being out for the year is not good for their defense. So now it's just
Nope.
Von
Chargers. And
Give-
we're going to tease these Chargers on down.
Miller. Oh, boy. Oh, to what?
Like a pick 'em,
It's a
right?
7-point tease, so we're going to tease them down to. Sorry, it's 6.5, isn't it? Yeah, we're gonna
Teasing
tease 'em
through 0, huh?
No, it's a 6.5 point teaser.
It's
though.
a 7-point teaser.
down. It is a 7-point tease.
Oh.
So what if this wasn't a neutral site game? What would happen?
If this game was being played at Qualcomm, it would be Chargers by 10, and I would love the
Denver-
Chargers.
I've probably been not good at this today, but I'll say this. They've got injuries in their secondary. If Buddy doesn't play, Callahan, they're going to be down 3 or 4 starters. That's where I go to the line of scrimmage and just beat you.
No, I just think that they turn around and they hand the ball off to Eckler and Gordon this entire game because Denver cannot stop the
Maybe.
run. And
Great.
then you get a close-ish game where Denver covers it in the last little bit.
Very possible.
I think Denver could win this game. Just because the Chargers are just so beat up that
No.
one more thing happens and all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh.
Hold on. When I say we've got no margin for error, that's what you're alluding. They can win this game. We cannot. 1 or 2 things on the field happen. We just can't overcome. We don't have the talent that we should.
Is it weird that when building depth, their best depth is at the one position where the guy always plays? They have a really good backup quarterback. Tyrod's a great backup.
I don't know. I mean,
It's just weird that they have Tyrod.
I
a team
guess
with
they
some
had
shit
Kellen
quarterback.
Clemens for forever. I don't know. I do think the spread's a little high. I hopefully think we can just put him away.
Could you trade Tyrod to Chicago?
They are actually the Chargers' biggest rival, in my opinion. Yes, the Chiefs are the team that they need to chase and be in battle with, but there's actually bad blood between the 2 teams. So let's get them.
Chargers -6.5. I'm the only person on Denver.
I don't know. I want to say If you had to power rank the Chargers like 10 best players, how many of them are not playing?
I gotta write this down. So I'm just gonna think offensive anyway. Just like amongst their best players, who's on offense? Rivers, Keenan Allen, and Okung are probably their 3 best offensive players, right?
Yeah.
That's how I would grade them out.
Hunter Henry.
And then
I don't know if Hunter Henry is one of their 10 best players.
Oh, no.
We'll go over the defense. He's not better than those 3 guys. He's not.
Okay, fine. But have you seen his numbers, the Rivers to his numbers?
You mean in the 2 games he's ever played?
Like
Great.
17?
He's fantastic. So maybe he could be 4th, sure.
Yeah,
but
he
he's
is
not as good
4th.
as okay, let's talk
And
about
Mike Williams is 5th, who's also out.
I mean, I'd rather have Mike Williams. Mike Williams is probably going to play this week.
Hope so.
He's trending towards playing. I would rather have Mike Williams than Hunter Henry. Anyway, I'm just
Like
saying that
Tyler Derwin
I'm
James.
saying that those 3 guys
Right.
on offense are the 3 best players on offense.
Okay.
Now
We'll
I
add
think,
to that
I think
after,
that the next best 7 are probably on the defensive side of the ball.
And Badgley.
Are they? Yeah, you could
Is
be
Badgley
right.
so great? Tylon
No,
looks like he
yeah.
might be one of them.
Are Derwin,
So you have Derwin,
Bosa,
Bosa,
Ingram,
Ingram,
Hayward,
Hayward.
Desmond King,
King.
for sure. So we're already quickly at 5. I would argue all-pro safety special teamer Adrian Phillips might also make our top 10 list, who's broken his arm and is on IR.
Phil.
Yeah.
I mean,
Then Hunter Henry.
You just
then-
want to say Hunter Henry so it can add to your point that these guys are out.
No, they're all out. It doesn't matter who I name.
I might say like Eckler's their next best player.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I forgot about him.
Eckler's better than Gordon.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus says he's the best running back in football right now.
Don't worry about it.
I
They're
don't
not-
mean, I'm not saying he's better than McCaffrey. I know he's not as talented as Zeke or thing. I just mean
I
like
think he fits
his
what they
production.
want to do better than what Gordon
Yes,
does.
and I would always say, even before Eckler became this great player, you've known me for years, or I would argue through the Woodhead era, and before that, the Sproles era. That position is vital to the Chargers. Under Phillip Rivers, he's always had someone like that.
Well, it makes up for like when you have and he
Shitty
had,
offensive line.
That's the thing. He had
gets rid of
historically
it
so many
quick.
bad offensive lines, and now with Okung, their offensive line isn't all that great. That getting the ball out quickly, and now they're starting to pass on 1st and 2nd down rather than just on 3rd
Well, they
down.
might have hired someone who does math.
Yeah, and
it told them, or maybe they read a Warren Sharp article that said, pass on 1st down, idiots.
Well, I know that Sharp consults for some of the NFL teams, and I'm not sure which teams it is, but based on how Kansas City runs their plays, it has to be Kansas City. Like without a shadow of a doubt.
They've
they
been doing
consult-
a lot of that stuff beforehand. But
No,
you
but
could be
just
right.
very specific things that Sharp writes about, Kansas City does. Even at the end of that game, when they were coming back, and then they got down by the goal line, every time they got down by the goal line, what did the Chiefs do? Inside the 5. They ran the ball. Run.
And the Chargers
All they
like
do
that.
is pass till they get in close, and then they run. That's what you do.
Very effective.
Chargers
is.
do
It's-
that
it's the
too,
most-
I would argue.
What's that?
I think the Chargers do that pretty well. The
Patriots
Chargers
do
haven't
that
been
as well.
stalled. I can't remember the last time the Chargers were stalled on a drive.
The old man Patriots do that too.
Like we
Yeah,
don't
so
go
do the
3 and
Saints.
out. The Chargers get past midfield every time they have the football. Every single time. All season. Minus a couple 3 and outs. We haven't had many. Because I drink hard for them. Sure.
So I'm
I
the only
don't
one
know.
taking Denver +6. Should we give some love to Denver here? They're
No.
fucked for like the
They're
next
done.
3 years. Can you
So
trade?
what?
Like,
Well, no, they could be. Okay.
I don't think that they're bad, but like they have Flacco with this giant cap hit
Yes,
as well. Like
and
going into next
their
year,
problem-
they probably have to. If they were sensible, they would say they would look at their roster right now and know it's not good, and they're already 0-4. Tank,
Well-
trade Von Miller, get some assets. I mean, if the market for these guys for Tunsil is 2 first-round picks, what are you going to get for Von Miller?
I do want to say we've never seen anything like this. This many 0-4 teams, this many teams that like should 100% be tanking. The battle for it's like almost feels like an NBA thing.
But it doesn't
That there
feel like the Redskins or the Bengals or the Broncos or Cardinals are actively trying to tank.
No, but it does feel like they could be there soon, and the battle for first overall could feel like the NBA for the first time ever. And I always make fun of the NBA because the amount of teams that could win
The NBA title?
the NBA title or that are actually actively trying to win the title is probably less than the amount of teams who want to get first overall.
I'd say except for this year, because teams believe they have a chance to win in the
Okay,
NBA.
sure, yeah, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like we got more teams than ever on that thing.
All right, next
One
game.
more, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Peter King reported he does expect the Chargers are in on Jalen Ramsey. As I said, and for the
They
exact...
were offered 2 first-round picks and turned it down.
Do you
They
wanna-
don't want to trade him.
No, fine, maybe. But do you know why they turned it down? Because they don't want 31 overall.
No, they don't, but
Let me
what do they
make
get
this
from the
clear.
Chargers?
23?
32.
Let me make this perfectly clear. Yes, they were offered 2 first-round picks. 98% it was from the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think it was from the Ravens.
In my opinion, 98.9%. If it was from the Ravens, they accept the picks. Because that's a team that could still make the playoffs at 9-7. Like, they can get, if it's the Ravens, they say yes.
They don't want to trade him.
Okay.
That's going to be a problem.
They certainly don't want to trade him to the team offering the 2 first-round picks who are going to be picking 30th overall. Because let's just hypothetically people think like, what, they're first-round picks, they're first-round picks. Let's fast forward to draft night. You draft 30, 31, 32, and you want to trade up for 22. There's a good chance you're giving up a 1 or a 2.
No, I'm with you on that. And then you look at the Steelers, who were just like, we're going to give you our first-round pick because we're going to be great for Minka Fitzpatrick. Now, all of a sudden, the Dolphins might end up with pick 1, 6, and 13 or something.
And they're in great shape. But I get that you cannot trade Jalen Ramsey and not get a pick inside like the top 25 under no circumstances. And I do understand they want to keep him. I understand that. They should want to keep him.
And they kind of have to keep him now. If they're going to trade him, they need to trade him before the season starts. Because if you're talking about what you're talking about and getting the good first-round picks for the player of need, well, no one who's going to have a good draft pick is going to trade for Jalen Ramsey right now. The only time they're ever going to do it if they're going to dilute themselves into thinking that they're going to be good before the season starts. That's it. And then you just hope that team's bad and you get a top 5 pick.
I guess, but I still think there could be some desperation and you get the offer.
From who? What team is doing that? That could end up like with a good pick?
The Ravens, the Chargers.
Maybe? But
I agree.
So you're going to trade him for pick 17 then?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd rather keep him.
I agree they should keep him. You don't draft a player to become everything you think he is that high and then trade him. They should try to give him the extension that he will get on the open market or tell him, pal, we are not trading you. So you got 2 options. You can retire or you play year 5 of your contract. And when that expires, we franchise tag you twice.
I like it.
So they could just put his balls in a vice. That being said, this man is working the most, I don't know whether to call it alpha move, but this whole thing where he's on paternity leave and there's no designation for how long it is in the CBA.
He traveled with the team last week.
I mean, what an amazing...
He was there last week.
It's just a great coincidence that like while he's demanding a trade, his wife is having this baby and he can then play that card and miss as much time as he felt was warranted.
The only one that I heard on the table that I thought was really intriguing, it was a first, a second, and Zach Ertz from the Eagles. Because, like, the Eagles are no lock to make the playoffs. They should make the playoffs. They should be good. And having Ramsey definitely addresses a lot of the needs that they have. But if that was the case, I would have taken that deal.
No, I'm not trading Ramsey for just about anything.
I would trade him again.
No.
You just want him traded to the Chargers.
And I don't want him traded to the Chiefs, but I don't think there's anything the Chiefs can do because you cannot trade him for a pick that isn't inside the top 25, even if you get 2 of them. You can't.
Yeah, but if you get 2 of them, the one caveat to it is
they're cheap.
Well, it's not even that. It's not only are they cheap, and basically you can see the path of what that pick will probably end up to be this year. If you think you know what's going to happen in the NFL a year from now, you don't. What if Mahomes gets hurt? How good are the Chiefs? Not very. Then all of a sudden you have
the Chiefs and the Patriots could be both, 3 and 13 teams next year. You don't know.
Like Patriots not even brought up. He has to throw them in. We see how triggered you are.
I understand all of that, but to me, like what are you trading? Because he's worth. Like, he is 1 pick, and then he's worth the juice of another. So
yeah, let me throw this out here for you, though. What is the shelf life of the lockdown corner?
Well, it's short. Josh Norman proved it's pretty short, and you can talk your big game. And
Asamoah did it as well.
I forgot, yeah. Okay.
Like, there's been guys that have just come up, and they've had these 3-year runs, and they've been fucking incredible. And then they just... Revis was great, then he was not great, then he was great for 1 more year, then he was not great again.
But Revis was a genius. He sort of played this, he kept bouncing on those 1-year deals, getting like huge money on 1-year contracts, sort of risking the fact that he would get hurt, but sort of banking on himself each time around.
Then he went back to the Jets and stunk.
Well, I think that was more of like a goodbye thing.
He
but-
got Tim. How much were they paying Revis that year when he was awful?
Remember a significant amount of money, but you know what? It was worth it because we had a chance to make the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. So.
And then you did not with Revis.
But
on
like
that
Buddy
team.
and yeah, you're right. And I would say who today would you say is the best corner? Lattimore?
I'd say it's
or
probably
in-
Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, he
Or
or
Buddy
Lattimore.
in New England? Gilmore?
Lattimore.
I mean, Lattimore kept shut down Dallas cold on Sunday night. That was very impressive.
They did. It was really bizarre.
Well, apparently
against
Amari had an MRI after the game. He wasn't healthy. He
Well,
wasn't getting any separation.
He came into the game with an ankle injury, but Dallas's only plan was, hey, Amari looks covered. Let's throw to him anyway.
Try to get PI
Like,
because
it
he's
was-
Amari, maybe.
Or
I
they
don't
could have
know.
thrown to like open Jason Witten. I know it's Jason Witten, but he was wide open. Either way, like the Gilmore thing was funny because he was really good with the Bills. And when the first year when the Patriots signed him, he wasn't all that good. And people laughed at the contract, and then all of a sudden he's great.
Yeah, great.
So, anyway, let's talk about
Need this though.
Let's talk about the game that
Chargers
matters.
lose, season's over. We'll move on.
The NFL has boxed out the rest of the game, so everyone in the world can watch Green Bay at Dallas.
Not me.
Dallas is favored by, you'll still watch it. You'll have it on like pitcher and pitcher. -3.5 at home. 46 is the over-under. Green Bay is coming off a game they should have won. And I think Dallas is coming off a game they should have won. So it's very intriguing to see how they rebound from this. Like, it was embarrassing that the Packers didn't beat the Eagles. Like, very embarrassing.
Definitely taking that big lead to start.
And just even the fact they got down to the, like, it's like the Packers thought that they got 2 touchdowns the fancier the play they did trying to get in from the 1 yard line. Turns out that's not
I'll
the
make
case.
this one quick because I have one of the strongest opinions. I love Green Bay in the game. I love Green Bay to win the game. They're coming off the mini bye going into Dallas. Green Bay owns the Dallas Cowboys. They have for years now. Green Bay is one of the teams that puts fear into Dallas. Remember, they went and beat them in the playoffs. They beat them twice in the playoffs, actually. Once in Lambeau, once in Dallas in recent history. This Green Bay is just a better team. Rodgers is a better quarterback. Green Bay has mostly better players, better play calling, better coaching. I love the Packers in the game. We're teasing them up to 10.5.
10.5.
Love them. Green Bay is probably going to be my super lock. I think that Rodgers goes into a city that he owns and he continues to own.
I think this Smith injury on the offensive line could
Huge.
be potentially devastating here. And there's talking about like, oh, he's probably not going to play this week. Apparently he has a high ankle sprain. He might be out 6 weeks.
It's apparently not like the most severe kind.
So it's a mid ankle
but
sprain.
it's he's out. He's out. He's out. It might be around the Packers. I really.
The coin took Dallas.
Rodgers is the better quarter. He's getting over 3 points here. Dallas
Can Dallas go back to how I don't want to say like how they were playing because they were playing bad competition, but can they go back to the offensive game plan that they had the first 3 weeks over that shit show that we saw against the Saints? Do what you do well. Put Dak into a position to run off play action and hit guys down the field and just generate people that are open instead of just running and throwing to Cooper. That's not going to work.
I can imagine at 7 o'clock in the evening, Troy Aikman saying to Joe Buck, I just don't know about that play. I don't know what Dallas was trying to do with that. I don't know. Aikman's going to love it.
It's interesting what's going to be happening in Dallas maybe over a long term and what sort of even hotter seat Jason Garrett will get on because Jerry Jones is not afraid to talk. And all his criticisms about the game in his like local radio spots were Kellen Moore. And that's only telling in that like it's all his responsibility. Where like Garrett is so past even being responsible for anything that it's almost the writing on the wall.
That Sunday night game felt like it had Jason Garrett's hands all over it.
Jason Garrett is the new Marvin Lewis. He's not going till he wants to go. He should have gone years ago. He isn't.
Yeah, man, because Jerry Jones's coach calls his shot. I'm not.
No, just he's super
listen,
loyal.
I'm not saying Buddy's good or anything, but I will die on the hill of saying the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys doesn't call his number.
No, but you know what? I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think Jerry wants him to go anywhere. I think the guy.
Okay, well, we will see. There's a lot to take away from both of these teams. It's pretty funny because one of them is going to be on the hot seat on Monday or Sunday night because start 3-0, all of a sudden your 3-0 is going to evaporate quickly. One of them's got to be 3-2. Now, the Packers do play Monday night following week.
They could tie.
The Packers do play Monday night the following week, and I want to say the Cowboys get a reprieve because they're playing the Jets. Anyhow, my takeaway from both teams is Green Bay first. So much was made of their 3-0 of their defense.
Which looked bad.
And then you look at the offenses they played the first 3 weeks. Trubisky, Flacco, and Kirk Cousins. And you're like, okay, maybe they're like, it's hard. Maybe we're just puffing up their defense because they played freaking nobody. And maybe we weren't giving enough credit to the offense, who granted they should have won the game versus the Eagles. But those defenses, granted, Denver's when healthy should be good. The Bears, obviously, and the Vikings. So maybe we're not giving full credit to how good the Packers offense.
Or it could be a situation too, like if the Packers defense is actually quite good, even good defenses have bad days.
Yes,
like
of
it's
course.
hard to
And
judge
Dallas,
anyone off one game.
Listen, I own Dak in fantasy. I was on a high horse being like, other than Mahomes, I drafted like the auto QB start. I was really proud of myself because I don't draft Dak thinking he's going to be my like no questions auto starter. I don't think many people did. I certainly didn't. But it's a small sample. It was 3 weeks. Everyone got on their high horse about how great he is, but Dak is what he probably is. He's not at the level of other guys.
No, but
and with that comes inconsistency, and he had a horrible, inconsistent game.
Sure, but he was put into the wrong. Like there are certain things that Dak does well. There are certain things that Dak does not do well. To make him like a pocket passer who is either going to take a 5-step drop, scan the field, go through his progressions, and put it on a pin is not what he does well. Especially when you're only asking him to turn around and hand the ball off to Elliott, who's not going anywhere right now. And now they have a banged up offensive line. Like you need to get him. Like I keep harping on this play action thing, but for the first like 3 weeks, they were at like a 50% play action rate. It was like 10% against the Saints. Like that, you're actively taking away some of the best things that Dak does. Because even when you get him on play action, you open up the ability to freeze the defense. Maybe he can see that and then take off to the side and he can use his running ability. I think the biggest key in this game is what's more impactful for each of these teams. The loss of Smith on the O-line or Devontae Adams not playing. That's going to be real rough for the Packers offense with your best receiver not there.
He may play still.
He's not playing. He has turf toe. If he plays anytime in the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be stunned.
Fair enough. I still like the Packers. I still think they're the better team, and I trust Aaron Rodgers.
Might be my super lock.
That's what he said too. How about another friend of McVay, Matt LaFleur? Are we sure he's a good coach?
I don't know. It's too early to say. After 4 games, you can't tell anything.
Because he really seemed to enjoy running Aaron Jones for no yardage after they got up in that game. They're like, hey, you can pass. Devontae Adams was legit open on every play. That entire team was open on every single play. So what do you do in first and down from like the middle of the second quarter through the third quarter? Run it up the middle from first and second down for nothing. Like he called a very poor game, just like Dallas did. So like, I'm not convinced either of these teams could be the 2 best teams in the NFC, or they could both miss the playoffs. Like I have no idea like where their actual level is at right now. And to say one team is significantly better than the other, that seems rough.
Rodgers healthy, getting over a field goal.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
I'll do it. I did it like week 1 versus Chicago. I think if he's healthy and I'm getting those points, it's like an easy, just blind window.
All right. You guys seem pretty convinced, so I'll go with you. I have no feel for it. It's not making a Super 7, or I'm not betting.
I don't know why Dallas should be favored by 3.5 points versus them.
Because Dallas.
I mean, but it's the Packers on the other
It's America's game of the week.
Don't Dallas.
Dallas might have the superior defense here. I know Green Bay's defense is good. Dallas's defense is also very good.
So Dallas is playing Green Bay. I'll say this. If the Saints win that game, I'll delete my Twitter account.
Sunday night game.
Clown face emoji.
Indy at Kansas City, minus 10.5 for Kansas City. The under is actually over-under actually dropped for a half point here. It opened at 57. It's 56.5 right now. Paul had the idea of the century. That look at other sports. What do other sports do? And the NFL's kind of doing that this week with Green Bay at Dallas and like scheduling all the other games out of it so everyone can watch that game.
Yeah.
That Patrick Mahomes should be in one of the 3 primetime games
every
single week.
Or
just designate 3 quarterbacks or 3 teams that one of them has to play in one of the primetime
I would
games.
be. I would.
Who would it be? Who would be the 3 quarterback?
Well, it'd have to be Mahomes because
I would throw Lamar into that just
to
because
me,
he's so much fun to
fine,
watch.
Lamar too. But outside of the Chargers playing, the only like Mahomes is the only thing that would entertain me. Everything else seems so freaking boring. And yes, like I catch myself wanting the Chiefs to lose if they're in a close game. It's natural; they're a division rival.
Yeah, but he's great.
I would like the Chargers to control their own destiny. I was so frustrated watching Detroit, like just march into the end. Like, what idiots! What idiots! But he's amazing. I don't take that away from anything. He's magic. He's a magic man. But they can't do that because that's not fair because them in primetime under the lights at home is worth like 2.5 extra points.
So you're saying the spread isn't high enough? It looks like Hilton will be back.
If Hilton and Leonard are back,
I don't know if Leonard's going to be back.
then I will bet the Colts plus the points.
I'm going to take Kansas City to rout Indianapolis here.
I will take the Chiefs, and because I've learned not to tease against them, I'm going to tease with them again.
Smart.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Tease them down to 3.5.
The Chiefs, though, sneaky, not like they might be dominant, but they're just 2-2 ATS.
Yeah.
That's fine. Give me the Chiefs.
I just Brissett
Outdoors in a primetime game.
Hilton
don't
back
like it.
but like Mac is banged up as well. If Leonard is back, you might be onto something here. If he's not back, I just don't see how they like and without Malik Hooker as well. That
Yeah.
I don't love it.
This
Nope,
one
it's
might have to be my. Oh no, never mind. I'm not doing that. This is the game I'll need forever to win my suicide pool.
To win it, okay.
I don't actually mean that, but
To stay alive.
No,
The coin is taking Kansas City as well. Let's just briefly talk, and then we're getting to what I actually think is the main event of this show. An hour and 50 minutes in. Cleveland at San Francisco.
I wish it was Nick Mullins.
Me too. The hero, Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins versus Baker.
Minus the Tim's 2 most hated quarterbacks. Minus 3.5. San Francisco is favored at home. 46.5 is the over-under. Tim called the Browns dead. Then the Browns go out and run all over the Ravens.
I want to say, okay.
Didn't
I'll
hear much from Tim on Twitter. He loves like shoveling dirt on Baker's grave when he's bad, but you hear nothing like, "Oh boy, wasn't I wrong?"
Yeah, well, it was nice to see Baker be very gracious on the podium too. That's certainly a gentleman who's learned how to grow up, saying the things he does on the podium. I don't know. The Browns win a game by 2 touchdowns, like everyone thought they were going to do all year, and I'm supposed to pretend like that's impressive. I'm not. I'm not impressed.
You can't. Whoa. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. At least, like, I took my shots at the mess in Cleveland last week, but happily took them plus 7 points. Did I think they were going to win?
No.
Now, with me in Cleveland, I've made this very clear going back to all our preview shows. I am going to cheer for whatever side of 500 they are on. That's the result I'm going to cheer for. I want them to be 12-4, 11-5, or I want them to suck. Them being 8-8 is boring to me.
Which is probably what's going to end up
So
happening.
last week they were 1-2, and they were like, the world was kind of caving in on them, and they answered the freaking bell. Now they're lucky that so much shit's going on in their division, and they have talent to overcome a lot of their problems. I still think in the end for this year, it's not going to work. It's another primetime game, but I think I already said it on the show. I'm not an idiot. Like Baker Mayfield, that was the biggest game of his career. The noise was never louder. But from idiots like me and Tim to like real shows, the noise was never louder, ever for him. And he played great. And part of him playing great is they ran the ball and they established other things and they didn't make him have to be like the centerpiece of everything.
Yeah,
And maybe that should be the recipe going forward.
Yeah, he was playing great when Nick Chubb was breaking up big runs, so he didn't have to throw the ball. I don't know. Somewhere in
He
Hemingway,
played a great game.
He threw for over 300 yards in the game.
Listen, you can't
he's so great. Yeah, okay.
You can't play every side. Like, no, that's not fair, Tim. That's not fair. You can't
What's
not give
fair
any
is for
credit.
people- No, I have no credit to give.
It sounds like you're very envious of Baker Mayfield.
No,
Is it because you can't chug a beer?
Somewhere in Hemingway's Death in the Afternoon, he talks about the bull being dead. He just didn't know it yet. That's what the Browns are. They're the bull that's dead. They just don't know it yet. This is not a good team. They got a momentary win to sort of throw you off the scent. Now they go to the Gold Coast.
I came into this like lining up to take San Francisco minus 3.5. After hearing this fucking shit again, Cleveland plus 3.5.
They go to San
Easy
Francisco, coming off a bye at home against a Browns team that themselves think delusionally that they can hang with a team like this. Now, the only thing to be worried about is that the Niners have in two of their 3 games have played just shenanigans football against the Steelers and Buccaneers and got lucky to win them both. So they could do dumb things, but just, I don't know. I just think they're better top to bottom. And, they're coming off the bye. They've known the Browns are coming in. Shanahan's a better coach, got the better quarterback. They got better offensive pieces, minus Chubb, who's playing quite well. And I have to eat some crow on that. Chubb's been a much better player than I thought he would be. I don't know. I just don't see it. I think this, I don't know why, what I have done that every time I turn on my TV at night, the Cleveland Browns seem to be on TV. Thankfully, this is almost over. But yeah, give me the Niners to win.
Niners D could be legit, Geoff, or they could have played Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Tampa Bay.
Well, Tampa Bay's legit.
Sometimes, other times they are not.
Just
and in week 1, they were not. They were bad week 1.
Okay. I don't know if that's necessarily true.
I am going to take the 49ers.
Cleveland is getting very reverse cursed. You understand
I think
that,
it's
right?
a bad spot. The Niners off a bye in prime time.
It's like the Browns go behind the counter whenever they want. They wear too much perfume. They're driving me crazy.
You just sound sad.
Yes, that's the problem.
This is so petty for you. It's really bizarre.
Don't cut this part. And if they've made it this long, good for them. He's like, my sister's divorced. Her ex-husband's a fucking piece of shit. He does things that are so mind-boggling. But my mom will complain to me about things like, if his shirt is purple, my mom, I can't believe his shirt's purple. And I'm like, Mom, everyone knows he's an asshole. But when he's doing something that you lose everybody you complain to when you can't, when you are picking on something that is so nothing or he shouldn't be picked on for. Stick to the actual bad things. But when Baker plays a great game, when the noise is very loud, anti-Baker, not just from you, from people who have your biases, and he answers the bell, if just for one Sunday in a division rival game that puts them in first place in a division where Pittsburgh has so many problems, and that could be a tie-breaking influence, you gotta give him credit. You got to, or you lose. I mean, you've lost a lot of credibility in the argument anyway, but you lose everything. Everything, Tim.
Yeah, so what Tim's actually doing here with Mayfield is the real life version of what I do to Mark Ingram in fantasy.
Sure, yeah.
I do it as a bit.
Yeah.
Tim is stressing about Baker. If here's why I think the Browns will end up being okay, because it's the worst possible outcome for Tim. What happens when the Browns play the Patriots to go to the Super Bowl? What's going to happen? Tim might just die. I don't want that to happen.
Tim will just be watching the NFC game, hoping no star players get hurt because he'll need either team at full capacity to play that Super Bowl. That's essentially what he'd be rooting for on Championship Sunday.
Yeah.
What a disaster that would be. Thankfully, this Browns team is trash, so I don't have to worry about that.
They might have a home division game at 9-7 because it seems like they got to beat a team that's
Great,
also
so we
flawed
can make
in
a
Baltimore.
pile of money on the Chargers going into Cleveland on Wild Card Weekend.
I don't think you want that kind of Tim hyping up the Super Bowl Chargers against the can't-win Browns. You want that? Remember this last year?
Can we just end the story? How do the Chargers miss the... it will be a painful,
because they lose this game to Denver, and yeah.
No, I'm saying, how they will, miss the playoffs in December will be a culmination of all the pain
What is a worse outcome? Is it missing the playoffs based on something stupid like that, or what happened in the playoffs last year and just getting absolutely annihilated by the Patriots?
I gotta make I don't want to go backwards as a team.
Okay, so this somehow turns into week 17. They need to win to get into the playoffs, and Rivers gets hurt on the
and they go into Arrowhead because that's
then we got Tyrod.
Sure, but hey, you love Rivers.
I do. I love. But I would love to see some trickery and some Tyrodery. Tyrod is our holder, man.
You got the tie connection?
Why can't we try
Tyrod?
something? I'm excited. I can't wait for me. I wish there was a camera on me the first time we do a fake.
You can set that up. First, set your phone up.
I thought, never mind.
If I do this to Tim and he starts bringing something up, you got to finish that thought.
I know.
No thought can remain unfinished on this show.
Nothing. I thought about I don't want to do it actually.
Okay.
not even like a thing. Like for charity, like on a Patreon, doing like I would actually do a watch along with a Charger game.
Why do you have to do it for charity? Why don't you just do it for yourself? I'll take you
Because
the charity can be me. I'll take the money.
No, but people, I don't want people seeing me like that for free. Like you gotta pay to see me like how I'll get.
We have a question from the audience, sir.
Less of a question, more of a statement. Me and Gary were actually talking about that on Sunday, how we would pay money to watch when Miami was making it interesting against the Chargers. I would have paid money to watch you.
We can do like we do with the Cut Sweat show. We can figure that out. If there's like a primetime game with the Chargers, we can come in here.
It's coming up, but
we
the
can
problem is
film
I'm
it.
going to be in Vegas.
Is that their only primetime game of the year?
No, but then there's another one that I'm going to be at that's currently in the game at December 15th against Minnesota. And here's the other thing. The cost of admission, if I let people watch me
What about
watch
the Monday
Chargers,
nighter that they're playing?
if I let people watch me watch Chargers Chiefs, like that would have to be 5 times the admission.
Monday, November 18th.
Watching me having to play Patrick Mahomes, like literally dying.
How much
And the
would
game-
how much do you think people would pay for this? If we said it was if we all said it was going to charity
I, like-
minus the administration fee paid to me hosting it, which is 98%. Isn't that how charities work?
But
Yeah.
no, Chargers, Chiefs, Monday Night Football
In Mexico City.
Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. I think that would be a great watch.
$20?
We can think about it. And yeah, maybe like portions of charity. If I'm going to put myself out there like that.
Well, we have to cover the cost of whatever the cost of the production is. We'll give the rest to charity. We could probably raise like $1,000 for charity. If it's for charity, people will actually do it. Set up a private YouTube.
You need
link.
a wide shot because I do not sit down. I would literally, I just walk a circle.
Man, I'll set up a fucking GoPro. We'll be good. We'll have a drone in here. And it'll
Is
freak
that
out
my
Tim.
only primetime, Tim?
No, it's not your only. You have a Sunday game that could get in week 15 or 16.
Yeah,
as
I'm gonna
well.
be there.
But you have the Sunday nighter next week, and you have the Monday nighter against the Chiefs, I believe. And then a Thursday nighter somewhere in there. Against the Raiders, you have a Thursday nighter as well.
That's when they can win.
See, yeah, I know, but I think I want to
November
ask
7th.
you want to pay top dollar to see them lose.
Yes. Oh,
That
absolutely.
is what like you should want. That like when we can't get off the field, like that, and that is what you would want to pay for. You would not. It would be far less entertaining if we're just running for 6 yards a clip versus Oakland, like controlling a game.
Yeah, but I heard Oakland's good. Someone mentioned that.
Maybe. I'm not
No,
saying
that
we
was
would run
Tim.
it. Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm nervous about this Denver game. I think there's a lot of like bugaboo. I think the spread's a little high. I think people have, I said it during the preview, but I think people have like written off Denver, like public perception wise. Agreed?
Yeah, I completely.
And I
That's
don't
why
think
I took
they're,
Denver.
and I don't think they're nearly there in reality yet.
Okay. Superlocks of the week. Everyone is 2-2, so someone can establish a lead here. I have narrowed down my list to Cincinnati -3, Atlanta +5, Philadelphia -13.5, Baltimore -3,
You just love every game.
Buffalo +3, but I'm going to circle the Chicago Bears -4.5 in London.
I'm going
Jeff.
to take the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
Are you guys both taking the Packers?
I am going to take the Packers.
Jeffrey?
I'm tempted to take the Eagles, but I don't really like to play with those types of numbers.
Let's take the Patriots. That's a freebie.
You know
Oh,
why?
you know, I should have taken the Patriots.
I want to take the Packers. I'll take Chicago, although that's so public.
Me and you both taking Chicago?
I just like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's the whole thing though. Taking the other side of that game is probably the play. 'cause
Like,
that-
why am
who is besides Tim? Who is betting Oakland plus?
Why
4.5?
why do I only have to lay 4.5 when I'm already
Well, the
being
Raiders
spotted
are
a
good.
defensive touchdown?
I know.
Like I'm
Raiders are
already
good.
up 7-0 on a defensive score.
You'll see.
Maybe. Yeah.
If the Raiders were so good, Tim, why did you pick against them last week?
We both had Oakland
in the
on the
dumb
spread, I think.
Yeah, we both took.
Yeah,
Oakland
listen,
last
did I
week.
think they were going to win the game? No, but Indy hasn't beaten anyone by a touchdown.
Exactly. It's sort of like Houston.
Yeah, I know, but Atlanta's dickless.
And Oakland's not.
And Houston can be too.
Survivor pick. Tim, you get no say in this. So You and I have actually had exactly the same pick so far. So we
Oh,
can't.
shit.
So we can't use Philly.
See,
We can't use New England.
on the show, I used New England week 2, but I actually tried to be fancy and used Houston. So in real life, I have New England, but for the purposes of the
Yeah,
show,
we're doing the show picks.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to use New England in real life, but for the purposes of the show, I use Philly too.
Do we use Kansas City,
Yeah, I guess.
or is this a spot to roll the dice a little?
No, I think that game will be close.
The most confidence I have in a team to cover the spread this week out of any of these spreads is Chicago -4.5. Why would I just take Chicago?
I don't want to. I'll take the Chiefs at home at Arrowhead. I like Indy plus the 10.5, which could even be 11 come,
Do I go with the bigger spread or do
Chiefs.
I roll the dice? I've been very good with not rolling the dice so far, and currently I'm still in it. Picking the Bears feels like something Tim would do. Can you feel like that?
I don't know. I had a perfect season once, so
Yeah, and
Follow
won,
my lead.
and won no money out of it. So congratulations. I'm actually trying to win money here. You're real good at no stakes. I'll take the Bears. You're taking Kansas City?
Yeah.
I'm going to be sitting here next week and saying, I'm stupid that I took the Bears and they lost.
I hope they don't lose. It'll cost me.
All right, Tim, to recap your free money teaser, do that for us, please. 1 and 3 on the air.
Chiefs, Chargers, Patriots, Eagles, Packers. Buy the bet the farm, win, lots.
Like 1.2 farms
No, it's more than that.
on a 7-point tease?
Yeah, I think it's plus 325.
Really?
Yeah, plus 325.
All right, so plus 325. All right. Who do you think blows it for him this week? It was everyone last week, but this week. I think it's Green Bay. You better hope it's not the LA Chargers.
I really hope not.
Yeah. I'd rather it be Green Bay, right?
You should see the amount of how loaded my Menchies were, with people angry at me that the Chargers were going to lose their eliminator 12 minutes into the game.
Yeah, people need to pump the brakes on that a little bit.
The Dolphins, they literally they play poker with showing their cards. So they can catch a good hand and score a touchdown. They did out of the gate versus the Chargers. But if they're playing a team that's has competence, it's just they can't. It gets to a point where they've already blown their load and they can't do anything else. And they've shown you everything they have, and there's still 3 quarters to play. Does that make any sense?
No, I got you. You know how Tim tries to take early credit for things before things are done, and then it inevitably goes the other way with him? Garion was going on about Josh Rosen over 190.5 yards. Tim also called it free money on the show. And we get to halftime. Josh Rosen has thrown for 148 yards, I think, and he's taking victory laps at halftime. Rosen throws for 31 yards in the second half and hits the under. Rough go. Geoff Fienberg. Happy New Year once again. The show is so long, it might have been another New Year. I have no idea. After flying through the first part of the games, we really got down to the meat. The late games were all the best games, in fairness.
Yeah.
And we usually gloss over the late games.
I
Spend
don't
time
know.
on
There are
the
a lot of
early
these
ones.
3-point games that I thought were perfectly 3-point games that I didn't really want to pick a side on. So it's my fault.
So follow him at Geoff Fienberg at Twitter. I want to thank the Coin. Coin could really use a rebound. And Paul Shaughnessy's behind the camera. What do you make of the Coin here? Are you mad it didn't take Buffalo, or are you happy it didn't take Buffalo?
Well, Tim and the Coin are against Buffalo?
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a good spot to be in if you're Buffalo, even with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, Coin got a little high for its bridges. Maybe it started watching the game since it has
what
a
I'm
Twitter
saying.
account.
It needs to go back. Yeah, it has a Twitter account now. It's watching the games. Should I stop bringing it to the bar with me and setting it up like this? Or at least put it tails out so the loon looks at it instead of the queen? Anyway, I'd like to
Some
thank
of the
myself.
Irish will probably take it from you when you go to the washroom, though.
Oh man, there were the place where we watch football. There were lunatics who stumble in off the street. But one of those lunatics is not Tim Undercust.
Tim and August.
That is not my name.
Because you don't just stumble in off the street. I found a place. I took One sec. Let's see. I can probably throw this up on the screen if you're listening to the audio version. But I walked by this place today, Geoff, on my way to work. Doesn't this look like a place where, even though you know Tim isn't in this city, that if you walked into this place, he might actually be in there?
I guess. What do they sell?
Hats. Old-timey hats. Established 1895, Tim. They only sell hats.
Interesting.
So the only two people you could run into in there are you and Cam Newton.
And Bruce Arians.
Now, Bruce Arian only wears one hat, and he wears it the wrong way, and he looks like Dom DeLuise.
I like that hat.
You know, why don't you wear it backwards like Samuel L. Jackson?
Well, that's fine too, but I like the English racing cap look.
Could a skinny person wear that hat?
Sure.
Does a skinny person wear that hat?
Sure, Bryson.
That's true. Bryson does. Do you think Bryson does that ironically, wears that stupid hat? I'm looking at you, Geoff.
No, I have no idea why he does that. He just tries to be different. I like him a lot this week, though.
I like him too, but I'm not going to bet him. If people are wondering, I'm going to release my betting cheat sheet for golf, but I went high. I went Kokrak, Scheffler, Wolf, Stanley, all 50 to 1 and beyond. In my last league, I'm breaking up with Luke List if he doesn't come inside the top 10 this week.
I bet Bryson. I parlayed Finau with the Steelers. I bet Bryson in Synagogue, so we'll see how that goes. And I bet Aaron Wise. Local guy.
I was
course.
between Wise and Wolf, and I just think Wolf's a better player.
And I've been really hot, and I got to say, last week I finally didn't hit a winner, which felt weird. But
the Chargers won.
The Chargers did win. Do I get any like half credence because Fleetwood won the Pro-Am?
You begging for now? You're really turning into Tim.
No, I didn't.
Looking
mean
for
like
credit
that.
on stuff you didn't even win.
I was trying to just make a joke that is the most Finau thing, like winning the Pro-Am, beating Rory and his dad. And I know we've gone long. Shame on Rory McIlroy for showing up at the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship, which is a Pro-Am on links courses where there was no wind, and then complaining that European Tour scoring is too low.
Okay.
I thought that's not the event to complain about.
You don't
that.
like Rory.
What do you mean? I love Rory.
You don't like Rory.
No.
You always got a problem with
No
Rory.
way, not a chance.
Always a problem.
Do you know, I got bets on like Rory versus Spieth to win.
Yeah, because you hate Spieth. We've established that.
No.
You probably have Rory against Justin Rose,
have
too.
zero
You have Rory against Darren Rovell.
I like Rory way more than you think. Way more.
I love Rory. Rory's the best.
Yeah, I don't know what. he's very open. He's very candid. I love his personality.
You just prefer he shut his mouth and play golf? You're one of
No,
those guys.
I think this is a misguided statement because I would argue PGA Tour scoring is way easier than a lot of these European Tour courses.
Yeah, but this is one of the premier events on the PGA. Or on the
It's
European
a
Tour.
Pro-Am.
So what?
Not everyone's as good as his dad.
Well, apparently, I guess Justin Timberlake was not.
His dad was. Listen, if his dad could putt for Emiliano Grillo would have 4 trophies.
Oh man, fucking Grillo. He's lost 20 strokes putting in his last 4 tournaments, and he's missed 2 of the cuts, so he only gets 2 rounds.
No, I swear to God, I remember the event. He was playing so well, and he just missed a putt by like 1/3 of an inch, and he gave the cut the finger.
Oh,
and he has been like literally dead on the green since that like little meltdown on one putt when he was like in contention.
Did you see the guy who got the 3-year ban from the Korean Tour for giving the fan the finger for like causing a ruckus?
I don't understand it. Guys would like get. Well, someone joked Sergio would last like 12 minutes on the Korean Tour.
Apparently, the Korean Tour has a lot of.
So
morals.
can this guy go play other tours then?
I mean, I don't even know who he is. I assume he's not good enough.
He was their money leader.
All right, then yeah, maybe he can go on the Japanese tour or something. Go play the.
And he wears
Australian
this like
Asian.
diamond-studded belt
Oh, that sounds pretty.
with his
awesome.
like initials in it. Like it's,
This guy sounds great. Maybe they just hated him. Too flashy. Tim would love the Korean Tour. Sounds right up his alley. All right, that'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. I told you about them giveaways. I'd apologize for going long, but if you're still watching, you clearly like the show. We enjoyed doing it, so thank you all for watching. Remember to give the show a like and tell some friends about it. You know, you're not, giving up a whole lot of inside info on good picks, but hey, we could use more viewers, we could use more downloads, we could always use more of everything. So tell a friend while you're out there anyway. I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!